This episode of the OnlyKings podcast is brought to you by OrganicPricedBooks.com. Guys, there's not been a better time to get into collecting comics, and OrganicPricedBooks.com has multiple formats such as the Omnibus, Deluxe hardcover, and trade paperbacks at huge discounts, such as The Amazing Spider-Man Volume 5, originally at $125, marked down to $80. Use my discount code NOAH, N-O-A-H, at checkout for an additional discount on top of what you're already getting, which can range from anywhere between 25 to 42% off. Again, OrganicPricedBooks.com, discount code NOAH, N-O-A-H, for an additional discount. Now back to the show. 2, 1. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
I'm glad we finally got to do this.
No, this is awesome. Your setup is awesome.
Thank you so much. So believe it or not, this is actually episode 40.
Episode 40, nice.
Yes, I cannot. Can you believe that, Joey? Fucking 40 episodes.
Actually, I can't. I really can't.
I think it's fucking crazy. So if you want to take a break from doing that real quick and open up the bottom drawer, do me a favor. So he has been my moderator for I'd say 90% of these episodes.
Nice.
So that's my way of saying thank you.
No.
For doing all this. So those of you listening on like Spotify and Google and like Apple stuff,
Bitch.
that just came out. It's the Ultimate Spider-Man by Bendis.
Oh, wow.
Omni. It's courtesy of OrganicPricedBooks.com. A lovely sponsor. But that's yours, buddy.
Thank you, dude.
And have you read that, right?
Learning curve is like at the beginning. Oh, no, it's so awesome. I don't think I've read I definitely read the first few trades. I've not read all of Ultimate Spider-Man. It's like 100 plus issues.
Yeah.
It's like I think they have the record for like the longest run of like him and Bagley like together like on a single project. Yeah.
Yes, you are correct. Yeah. When you get things up and running, look that up and see what creative team has the longest run. Because I think you're right. I think it has been Bendis and Bagley.
Yeah.
They've done that the longest. But because I've only read that all the way through like the Peter Parker stuff. I haven't read any of the Miles Morales.
Okay.
But
I like the Death of Spider-Man stuff. Like when it's kind of a weird team. It's like ultimate. It's the Ultimate Avengers versus the Ultimates, and like Punisher's on the team with Ghost Rider and stuff like that. And it's Mark Millar, so it's like really Mark Millar.
Yeah.
It's just insane. But like the Punisher shoots the vice president in like a church at the end. It's like amazing. Like, he's like, but I'm the vice president. He's like, but I'm the Punisher. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great fucking run. I love the way they killed Gwen Stacy. Did you get that far?
But like, that's like the symbiote stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
How Carnage like absorbs her, and leaves her for dead in the forest. I remember reading that in like middle school, and my mind is getting fucking blown. Like you can do that in comic books.
And then Bendis, like all his other Marvel stuff, like I loved like the New Avengers. That team is amazing. Like you got Wolverine and like Luke Cage on the same team.
Yeah.
Like that's like so awesome. And then like his Daredevil run, I love. Daredevil's like my favorite character. Like he's easily my favorite character. Him and the Punisher, but like I love them together as like two sides of the same coin. Like they're both like Catholic superheroes. Like
Bendis and Mark Malik or Alex Malik, right? Did the art? Yeah. Their run on Daredevil was without a doubt my favorite, I think.
Yeah, and then it was like after that it was Brubaker, and that one's good. It has one of my favorite parts ever is when Punisher goes to jail on purpose because Matt's there. Like, he just like sees a cop outside like arresting somebody, and then goes out and like snaps the dude's neck, and then puts his hands up. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, I actually got like my Daredevil tattoo is from the like one of the
Oh
covers.
yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah. So that one's great. I'm trying to find the omnibuses for it, but they're sold out everywhere. I think I need volume 1 of both runs.
Okay.
And I'll complete it. But I have them in the floppies.
It's funny that it started with the Kevin Smith one. Did you read the Kevin Smith one?
No.
Guardian Angel, like where he kills Karen Page and stuff like that. And it started the Marvel Knights run. It was like the same time that Garth Ennis was doing Punisher, yeah, like the first time though, like the Knights run, like
right,
yeah,
before he did Max, and went off the rails.
When Max was like I just Max is in a different universe, like, and it's like there's no superheroes in that universe, obviously. Like,
yeah. You know, and translating all that to the movies. One, I remember when it came out, and we actually just rewatched. Well, we didn't finish it, but Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance.
Okay, that's the second one. That's the Neville Dean and Taylor one.
Mm-hmm. It's not great, but like
it has its moments, and like it has some energy, like
yeah.
But
what's interesting is like when it starts, it's not a Marvel logo; it's a Marvel Knights logo.
Oh, okay, that's very interesting.
So I wish they would have carried that on and like done another Ray Stevenson Punisher, you know, and like I mean nobody really needs another Ben Affleck Daredevil, but like just a darker Daredevil. Back then would have been nice.
Yeah.
As much as I love Charlie Cox, but I mean I think Daredevil deserves to be. Now that we've had 3 seasons, he deserves to have his own movie.
And the movie needs to be a little more like fantastical, a little more like the what's his name, Mark Waid run, where he's like a little more happy and it's just
he's fighting like the Mole Man and shit.
Yeah. And like it's just way more like colorful and like it's more like the Stan Lee stuff before Frank Miller turned him into Batman before he turned Batman into the Dark Knight stuff.
Yeah. Can you turn us up like a smidge on both input and output?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just a little bit. Thank you. You know that's funny. Perfect. Whatever you just put me, do the same for him. Perfect.
Okay, I'm not gonna mess with your input then.
Yeah.
Please.
That's perfect. Whatever you did for me is perfect. You know, it's funny because I was thinking about that today about Frank Miller. I don't understand the obsession. I've got to be honest. Like, I appreciate it.
He wrote the best Batman story ever, or not like the
at the time.
Or like it's defined the character for like
right. It switched it
forever. Like the Denny O'Neil before that, it was getting darker. Like the what is it, like Joker's 5-way revenge and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was getting like, you know, murdery and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then it was Frank Miller who would just like totally took him to the like the weird narcissist Batman, like the I'm just obsessed with my mission, I'm so like an asshole to everyone thing that like is kind of obsessed everybody after that, and it like
I agree with that, and what I liked about Dennis O'Neil's run is that it focused a lot more on the detective side of things.
And he was a world traveler. That was like Rachel Gould and all that. Yeah, like like that's the stuff that like that's the stuff that's missing from some of like the more modern interpretations of Batman, like because he's really narrow focused on like the super grim and gritty, like the Joker, like that like grim and gritty crime story. That little kid ends up flying a bat plane later. You know what I mean? And like you know what I mean, and fighting like you know like.
I mean, I would just, and they claim that it's going to happen in the Pattinson Batman movies coming out next month, but I would like to see, exactly what you just said, I'd like to see more of a detective side, I'd like to see him go more abroad. We don't have to spend a lot of time outside Gotham, but just show that Batman is more than just a dark, sad character. Like, I would love to see Batman with a flashlight. You know what I mean? Like, that's such a common thing in his books, is him doing detective work, him going out, because he spends maybe half his night beating the shit out of people.
Yeah, no.
For the most part, it's just detective and clue work. That's what Batman does.
He has a supercomputer and then he spends most of the day just beating up mental patients. Like, yeah. Just put it in like the computer just like,
What do you think of what we've seen so far from Pattinson's Batman?
Okay, so like the beginning, I didn't really like what I saw. I thought they were going too dark and stuff like that. But like after I've seen some more trailers, I love the suit. The suit is one of the best suits. I do miss the gray. I think the gray of the Ben Affleck suit is like something I've missed. The full black suit is kind of weird, like compared to the comic book stuff. You know what I mean?
I agree.
But like after like looking into it, like the fucking I see. Like, they're trying to change the Riddler. I like the Riddler. He's like a weird character. I didn't like when they tried to change him into Hush, but like I do like that like they're kind of turning him into like a Zodiac type character. You know what I mean? He's got the like Zodiac type symbol on his chest. You know what I mean? He's wearing like the same mask and everything like that. And then in looking into it, I'm like, the Zodiac was probably inspired by Batman comics and like Zorro shit before that. You know what I mean? He was like fully like putting on a persona before.
Right.
So yeah, it's like this weird like art imitating life. Like so, it is kind of like the weird like
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I'm interested. It's funny. I hate the suit.
You hate the suit?
I hate the bat.
It looks like the video game suit is what it reminds me of.
It looks a lot like Arkham Knight. I agree.
Yeah.
And it's weird because like if I look at the suit and like in those prints over there,
Yeah.
like low light, dark and grim,
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
That's a,
But then I see it in full on. What does the suit look like? And I fucking hate it.
well, that's kind of like the Daredevil suit though too. Like the
I hated the live action Daredevil suit.
like in some light it looked really cool.
I hate it. I'm sorry. I thought it was dog shit. Like his black ninja suit.
Yeah, like the
Great.
the Man Without Fear. Like have you read that?
Yes,
Yeah.
from Frank Miller. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've read Man Without Fear and Born Again, the basics.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I thought you were talking about that suit.
Oh, the black one?
Yeah.
No, the red and black armored. Like I've never, with few exception, I've never enjoyed when you take a character who traditionally is not armored and make them armored.
Well, that's the '90s though. That was they took all the wrong lessons from like the grim and gritty like Watchmen, like Dark Knight, and like all these things, and they're just like, oh, comics needs to be like ultra violent, and everybody needs to have guns and wear jackets over their costumes, and like yeah, it was just a bad era for comics. Like
Yeah.
they took all the wrong lessons, and like because Watchmen like made comics grow up, but then they just had this weird awkward age where they didn't know like what they wanted to do.
They finally went through puberty and knew what the fuck they were gonna do.
Exactly.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird what they're doing with Batman right now. Because just to close out my point, I hate the bat suit.
You hate the new Batsuit.
I think the Riddler looks homeless. But because I like him doing Zodiac stuff.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think that's a
all the
great way to
ciphers
do
and
it.
all the like the codes and stuff. That shit's like yeah.
That's a great way to do it, but I don't like the look he has.
Well, my first impression was like this looks like a broke ass Seven. Like
Yeah, they're imitating David Fincher in all the wrong ways.
yes, and I get that like taking all the wrong lessons from like something that was great like, and that's the thing with all these characters like Batman. It's like everyone has their own headcanon, everyone has their own version of Batman,
Yeah.
and like nobody agrees on it ever.
Well, what boggles my mind though is like they're getting so much else right though. Catwoman looks amazing. The Penguin looks amazing.
Yeah, that's a funny one.
Commissioner Gordon is acting like Commissioner Gordon. I mean, he looks like he actually, even though he's not Commissioner Gordon yet, but it looks like he's standing up to the fellow policeman, right? And he's working alongside Batman. See? Crackheads. See? Now imagine if we had turned off the monitor and one of them hopped the damn fence. You know what I mean? That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, just a little break real quick. Okay, so to answer your question, the longest running comic book run by a single artist, non-American
Artist team. That it has to be the team, the both of them.
So think like Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, but in this case it's Brian Michael Bendis and Mike Bagley.
Yeah,
Mike.
because for comics, I would assume it's Chris Claremont for his X-Men.
Davidson and Gerard. I don't know if I can say his name.
It's one of those.
Oh.
Oh, Cerberus.
Yeah. The Aardvark.
Oh yeah, he's
300 runs.
and he's a weird guy too. He got all like yeah. He has some weird controversies about like some. He has a weird opinions.
Cerberus the Aardvark. Are you running OBS by chance?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So easier. Oh, I see the yellow. I'm just dumb. Cerberus the Aardvark. So you read that?
I just wrote about some of like the controversy that he kind of like. I mean, he's been writing it forever. It's called Cerebus because it was supposed to be called Cerberus, but he spelled it wrong. I think that's why it's called Cerebus.
I'm pulling all this from Reddit because I could not find like a straight Google answer.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh,
The next thing I found was
You're right. So yeah,
Well,
Chris
easy.
Claremont with his X-Men.
yeah.
yeah. Well, that one and then
And he
is Robert Kanigher wrote almost every Sergeant Rock story from 1959 to 1988. Almost every issue R.R. Man at War, which later became Sergeant Rock from 1952. So it ended with a 422.
So yeah, from a single. I mean, that's impressive.
That's one writer, yeah, writing a single book like.
But as far as like teams go,
You can't really find anything.
not really, not quickly.
Yeah,
Take a lot of digging, but you can try.
the only thing that really does come to mind outside that Ultimate run is Stan Lee and Jack Kirby.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that really comes to mind. Because
yeah, I don't think they even like because I think that like it's definitely over 100 because I know like they had 100th issue of like the.
Well, I mean, the dude who created Batman, Bob Kane kicked out Bill Finger real quick.
Well, and then that was
stole his ideas and flicked them to the curb.
That was a big thing too. Like have you seen like Bob Kane's like original Batman? Like before
it's terrible.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that Bob Kane's original like concept for Batman?
Oh yeah, he looks like every other like old timey like that era superhero.
He looks like a sideshow.
Yeah, he had a cape and like no mask and like yeah.
Oh yeah. Where he's like in all red.
Yes.
Yeah,
well, what's
looks
funny?
like Superman.
So what's funny about his take on it is that later became the inspiration for the Zur and R whatever the fuck it is from Grant Morrison's Batman.
Oh okay, yeah.
That is where he took inspiration. That like Elseworld Batman, it's like in red and purple.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
I love me some Grant Morrison. Like,
yeah.
Oh, he's just like the best. Like, Animal Man, Doom Patrol, all that stuff.
I still need to read Doom Patrol. And every time I'm looking for omnibuses that Doom Patrol is up there, I'm like, I want to buy you, but I also don't want you to sit and collect dust with the fucking rest of them.
I got like 3 like really nice like oversized ones. That
nice.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah,
nice. It's all 3 of them. It's everything they did, and it's so good. I read it all recently. I've been trying to go back and read like some of the stuff that I really liked, like that one and Animal Man, and and then like I just have my pile to read is just insane though. Like
yeah,
like I'm trying to read like Akira all the way through again.
Oh shit. I mean, you just saw the shit that I have. I've read maybe 20% of that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I've got a lot. I've read more singles than I have collected.
So at one point I was up like read everything I had I've read, and I'm at the point now where I'm like everything I've read, maybe the first issue of.
Yeah, I was like that. We were talking about before we started the modern Batman runs. Yeah. I was like that religiously with Tom King's Batman.
Okay, I like Tom King a lot.
Yeah,
I really like just all his like the Vision.
Yes.
I just read what was the one I just read was the Strange Adventures one. That one was really.
I've heard that's good.
It was really good.
But yeah, so if you want something to kind of brush up on maybe what Pattinson's doing, Tom King's run's a good place to start. A lot of like the Bat and the Cat stuff is what they're pulling for the movie.
And they keep saying that over and over. That's like the big thing about that is like the like I guess he's really controversial. That's all I've known about his run on Batman.
Well, because his Batman story made Batman a lot more emotional when people haven't done that in a very long time.
Well, that's a good thing. Like,
I agree.
Like go into the character, like, because it's like I don't know, like Batman. Everyone has written him. Everyone has drawn him. Like every great artist ever. So how are you gonna find your own little like piece of him? It's really hard to do that.
There's a story that he wrote. There's an arc. It's called The War of Jokes and Riddles, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's the Joker and the Riddler that take over Gotham, and Batman and Catwoman are caught in the middle.
I know a little bit of it, yeah.
And there's a part towards the end, like right before like what the third act would be, and Catwoman, Riddler, and Joker are all in a pile of rubble. And they're talking about their experiences with Batman, and like who hates him more, like who should be the one to kill him, and it's really good. No, it's really good.
It's like the opening to a really bad joke.
It reminds me of like the episode of the animated series where they're all sitting around playing cards, talking about how they almost got him.
And Batman's disguised as Clayface.
No. Killer Croc.
Killer Croc. That's right.
I picked up a rock and then I threw it at him or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good episode. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
That show was just amazing. I think Kevin Conroy, like in my mind, is Batman.
That's who I read. That's the voice that I read in my head.
Yeah.
I have to force myself sometimes to stop and like focus on the word of the sentence so I can get his voice in the back of my head. I forget the guy who voiced Superman, but him.
Oh yeah, and then. Like Lex Luthor, I love it's what's his name? It's oh man, but the Superman Clancy Brown.
Yeah,
is Lex Luthor, and Lex Luthor, like that's part of why Lex Luthor is my favorite DC villain. Like really? He's just amazing. He's just like I don't know. Like it took me a long time to appreciate Superman, like, and I finally. I think he's my one of I like him more than Batman now.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's rare, especially today. That's rare.
Yeah, no, and like, I just felt like Batman, like, he's kind of like easy mode with comics when writing, you know. It's not hard to write a Batman like story.
No, I agree
it's
with that.
really hard to write a Superman story, a good one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a lot more really great Batman stories than there are Superman.
Yeah.
Now, granted, that's just because of like DC has become the house that Batman built. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, they circle everything around him, which is super sad, in my opinion.
Oh, it
because
really
like,
is.
well, because I think about it, and I'm like, okay, let's assume that we can still call it canon. The DC movie universe really started with Man of Steel, right?
Oh, no.
Back in like 2012, like the current stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so now, 10 years later,
What's canon?
What is going on, first of all? A. B, we have a fucking full Peacemaker show, but I can't get Green Lantern?
Yeah, well, Peacemaker is the most famous. Peacemaker is the most famous DC superhero, and then the second most famous DC superhero in that universe is Polka Dot Man, and then maybe you have like Rick Flag, and then after that it's like Aquaman, maybe. No, I don't know. Like the DC universe is in such shambles. Like I wish it didn't start off as bad as it did. That's the problem. Like the Man of Steel's a good movie. I do like it. And then we get to like Batman versus Superman, and it's like they should have done a Batman movie first. They should have done one like Snyder should have done, or not. Yeah, a full on like sick Batman movie. Like and then like it's where they meet each other in the beginning. It's like you have your Batman who's at the end of his rope. He's Dark Knight Batman. He's like at the end of his career. He's given up. And then you have Superman who's like, he went through his origin story, but he's also kind of like hitting his 90s era where he died and is going to come back. It's like, it's mixing a bunch of metaphors. I love like the grandness of it. And I wish he would have got to the point faster, I guess, is my problem.
Yeah, so before we get into this conversation.
Oh, no.
Have you seen the rated R version of Batman vs Superman?
No, I haven't.
Okay, watch it. It is 3 hours long, and like, I mean...
you're not selling it on me right away. That's not the first thing you should do.
So here's the thing. There's
tell them how many times you've watched it.
Enough.
No. Give me a number. Ballpark.
But honestly, ballpark, fuck me, probably over 30 times.
Wow. There's been many occasions where we're playing video games or something, or playing Halo, and we're like, hey, get online. And this fucker says, no, I'm watching Batman vs Superman again.
I love it.
I like. Do you remember like I think it's in the Superman show. There's a Batman vs Superman episode.
The animated, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And like it has the Joker team up with like with Lex Luthor, and it's like. It's amazing. And like they do everything you need to do in a Batman versus Superman thing, and it's like a 2-episode thing.
Yeah.
Get everything out of the way. I think there's a lot of missteps. He had a grand vision, and I do appreciate it. I really, really do. Like and like the Snyder cut like is awesome. Like and like I wish they would have got it out way earlier. Like because it's one of those things where like it is still like a guy with horns like summons an army of faceless bad guys with a portal from the sky, like, and the space god tells them to then they have to time travel. It's like it's the exact same thing as Avengers. So it's like it's kind of and they did the same thing in Suicide Squad. It's where like the whole
I fucking hate Suicide Squad with a fiery passion. I hate that movie.
I know, and it's funny like in my mind like before the new one came out but before the first one even came out I was like that's the formula for an easy dunk of a movie. You know what I mean? Like you take all these like Z-list characters and like make them like 70s action stars.
Yeah.
And it's a slam dunk. And then you put them against like a world-ending threat. I'm like, no, you put them in a place where like it's like they're black ops and they shouldn't be seen and all this world tensions like.
So see if you can find this, Joey. There were rumors going around in like it was right before BVS came out that an insider from DC leaked Snyder's plans to Marvel. For like Snyder's 5-cut like storyline. Like look up like DC storyline leak to Marvel Studios. Maybe that'll find something. Because there's a rumor that someone leaked it. Well, and that's why you see so many like. There's always gonna be similarities.
Well, and Hollywood works like that. There's always like someone wrote a script like they didn't get the right price, so they shot this somewhere else. So you have your Dante's Peak and your Inferno that come out at the same time, and they're both volcano movies. You know what I mean? Or you have like your Deep Impact or your Armageddon.
Well, and the thing with Snyder's plan was when they were shooting, by the time they began shooting BVS in 2015, Jim Lee had written out drawn out concept art all the way through Justice League 3.
But the hard thing about that too is that like the fucking we're seeing things that are like coming into fruition in the fucking Marvel universe that like were planted like 10 plus years ago too.
Kind of.
Yeah, like there's like all of the like I mean, well, especially like the Endgame stuff was planted in like at least Avengers 2.
Right. Okay. No, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Like a 10-year gap.
Yeah.
To plan all that and all this stuff like I'm like trying to think of like a specific thing that was set up like with like especially these new shows. You know what I mean? There's like a lot of weird things that were set up like a long time ago and like I think like Marvel and DC have been in an arm race for a long time. Like there was like who's gonna get the first female superhero, who's gonna have the first villain team, who's like they've been in an arms race the whole time. But also I don't think that like DC's helped themselves by like competing with Marvel. I think the best stuff they've done is the stuff that's like purely them.
Well, so I love Snyder's stuff. Honestly, I love it.
So I'm on the fence with Snyder. Like for me, like I really enjoy like some of his like visuals. He's really like an amazing visual director.
Mm-hmm.
But like I think that like some of his like movies are just like it's the subject matter that it's like like he just chooses weird movies to do. I guess it's like it's very like bro like it's very like it's like very Frank Miller. It's very like
it is.
But also like the way I kind of see Snyder is like he's like the smart guy like of that. You know, he's like the like I read Watchmen and I did like all this like I'm not just that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that, yeah.
Well, because my thing with Snyder was I love his stuff, but if the big wigs and the executives at DC wanted to compete with Marvel, he was the wrong person to hire.
Oh, fucking A.
Because
you needed someone with like a more like just like you needed like a Jeff Johns or somebody like that, but like who has a little bit more of a Hollywood side, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because he was making a movie, or he was making movies to tell a story, not build a universe. Like he would have built a universe, but he wasn't trying to do like 15 different spin-offs and all these trilogies and sequels. Like he wanted to tell a 5-story arc and end it there, and leave it open enough for people to play like Patty Jenkins with Wonder Woman and the Batman that Affleck would have done.
So as a like a universe builder, I think it's a really like bad start. Like to start everybody off on this weird like really dark Elseworld kind of feeling like story. But I wish he would have been able to do the whole thing. I really do. Like I see where he was going with it. You know what I mean? And I understand that like he's gonna like Superman comes back bad and then they have to make him good again or whatever. You know what I mean? Like they're kind of doing Injustice again. Like
I love Injustice.
Yeah, and did you watch the movie? The movie was good.
We just watched that like 2 weeks ago. And I thought that was one of the worst animations.
It was really funny. It was cheesy.
Fucking put out.
Oh no! Like the Hush one was really bad. That's the one.
Yeah, the Hush.
Like why are they obsessed with Batman having sex with Batgirl? Like I hate it. I hate that shit. That's like one of my least favorites. Like and that's a Bruce Dini Paul Tim thing. Like it's like it's one of those. Yeah.
So it's that with my problem with the later like the most recent
Paul Dini. That's funny.
The recent animations they're doing. One of my problems with it is they really want to subvert your expectations because they're like, oh, well, these people watch these movies have already read the story, so we are going to change it.
Well, Hush was a mystery, and like it's by the master of whodunit, who's not the master of whodunit, like Jeff Loeb, who's a shitbag.
But it's like the people who watch these animated adaptations want to see the story adapted and see how well you do it.
Yeah.
They don't want to see the story twisted. I didn't want to see the Riddler be Hush.
No, that was awful.
That was one of the worst decisions I've ever.
And I hate the idea of like I'm the Riddler. I drew a question mark on my head.
No, dumb. But like my reasoning why you should watch the 3-hour cut. I'm gonna finish this thought. I'm gonna finish this thought. The reason why you should finish it is because like most director's cuts are just like bullshit, like one-line jokes or maybe like an extra character scene. But no, like in the 3-hour version, they explain a lot more of what's going on. Like they explain a lot more of the motives behind the Africa scene. They show Clark Kent going to Gotham and investigating Batman. There's a lot more actual things that add to the story. Like, okay, so I remember watching Batman vs Superman in the theaters for the first time, and the whole scene with the courtroom explosion.
That was like the part that kind of lost me because I was like, my favorite character in the movie before that was Helen Hunt or whatever. I'm like, oh, this is like this.
Oh.
This is the whole
Well, I remember a criticism was like, why didn't Superman stop it? Well, my brain immediately went to, well, that wheelchair's probably lined with lead. He couldn't see through it, and so he couldn't stop it, right? So like
comic book reasons, yeah,
comic book readers are gonna pick that up.
But that's like some CinemaSins shit who like people were nitpicking.
Well, exactly,
like,
but in the 3-hour cut, they actually explain that. Like they actually go into that part of it because, like Jenna Malone has a character as a detective, and they completely cut her out of the movie. But in the 3-hour cut, she's there, and they have her talking with Lois, and they're like investigating like what's going on. But yeah, now that we have the Snyder cut, what drives me bananas is there's this like. It's the same thing with Andrew Garfield and everyone wanting Spider-Man 3, right?
Yeah.
People are now saying, oh, Batman vs. Superman was actually pretty good. Man of Steel was great. And I'm like, where the fuck were you assholes like 7 years ago? Like, what the fuck? Like, you want to say this now, but now we have Wonder Woman 84, right? And now we have an Aquaman 2 is probably gonna be dog shit.
Yeah.
We have
Shazam 2.
Yeah, The Flash.
Black Adam.
Have you heard about The Flash? What they're doing in that movie?
It's a Flashpoint movie, right?
It's a Flashpoint movie, but they're erasing all of Snyder's stuff.
Well, okay, like
they're killing Affleck.
Well, part of me like I said, it felt like an Elseworld thing from the beginning. It felt like this isn't the
DC it's a same but different take.
This is an Elseworld take. This is like a what if story. This isn't this isn't the definitive versions of the character, and I think that's where Marvel goes for. Is that like this is like the purest version of Spider-Man or Star-Lord. Star-Lord's a complete creation of James Gunn.
I was gonna say it's funny watching it, not watching, but reading Guardians comics with Star-Lord before the movie came out.
Yeah.
What kind of character he is.
I read Annihilation. It was good.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Raging asshole.
Yeah. He's basically a cosmic peacemaker.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah.
And then after the movie,
he's a bumbling idiot too.
He's this happy-go-lucky,
he's Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
And it's hard to divorce them from that once you get that the on screen, because comic books, different artists can have different interpretations, but as soon as you get an actor who's Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man, it's hard. Yeah. It's hard to even write it afterwards without having his voice in your head.
I really wish they would have stuck. I almost wish Iron Man wasn't as successful as it was. To be honest, I wish it was successful.
It was so good, and it's looking back, it's such a weird Iraq War movie. And it's that Iron Man is the sickest drone America's ever made.
I wish they would have kept the tone. I wish they would have kept the tone going to Iron Man 2 and 3, so you could do things like Demon in the Bottle properly.
Yeah,
and not make it just a side joke.
And that's the funny thing is I don't think the movies allow for the characterization that you need to do that kind of stuff. So that's where the shows do really well. But then also they got by they got by Disney. So it's really hard to do these really darker stories. You're not going to get these darker stories anymore. You're not going to get a Punisher Max movie. You're not going to get
which is a travesty.
Oh,
yeah.
By the way, bro, that was my huge issue. Did you watch the season finale for fucking Hawkeye?
Yeah.
With Kingpin?
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So spoilers alert. But yeah, dude, I was so I watched that season finale where Kate Bishop basically beats the shit out of Kingpin,
which makes no sense.
That was awesome though.
And then I went back. I literally right after it ended, I opened up Daredevil, went to the season finale where he's fighting fucking Kingpin, and they're just beating the fuck out of each other.
Just
I was how the fuck blood? He's fucking getting beat with batons and metal pipes and shit. And
that three-way, to spoil Daredevil season 3.
Oh no.
There is a three-way battle between Daredevil, Bullseye, and Kingpin. They're fighting in Kingpin's penthouse. And it is some of the bloodiest shit Marvel's ever put to screen.
And Bullseye is dressed as Daredevil.
Yes,
and,
which is beautiful.
And he's like finally just doing the thing where he's just throwing things at people.
That was my one complaint with season 3, was Bullseye being Daredevil was a better Daredevil than Matt Murdock being Daredevil.
I like that storytelling wise, but yeah, I get
You know what I mean?
comically for sure.
Mm-hmm. Which is like, maybe if they would have done a season 4, Matt would have learned from that.
Well, and that I mean, this is more spoilers, but like the
Spider-Man.
there was the sick like ending like credits of the season 3 that we'll never get a resolution of it, where like whatever his name was, Poindexter got like a skull or like a spine transplant. He was gonna become real Bullseye after.
Oh right, I forgot about that. I totally forgot about that.
It was his eye, and it was a fucking.
He Bullseye. Oh my god.
What the fuck?
It's a little too like on the nose, I guess. Like, yeah,
They're
but
like, oh yeah, this guy's a bullseye. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
I will say this: the one on the nose thing that I really enjoyed at the end of the season, super on the nose for the character, was the ending of Punisher season 2, when he's with a random group of thugs. Like, I'll dance, and he just pulls out his guns and kills them all.
oh, that's like okay.
I fucking love it.
Very classic
You
Punisher.
finally get to him being Punisher. So my big qualm about the Punisher show is he's doing like the Wolverine thing, the same thing that Superman did in like where you like travel to the north and you like try to escape your violent ways and you like. No, I'm like, that's not a Punisher thing. The Punisher is not conflicted at all. Like he's the one who's like he's fully lost himself to the dark side. He said yes. Have you read Born?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said yes. He said yes to the dark side. Like he knows how to like life does not mean anything to him. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was something storytelling wise I don't really agree with.
Well, no, like there's no supernatural in my mind. There's nothing supernatural
Oh
happening.
no, I love that. No, I love the devil in his brain. I love that. But like in the TV show, him being conflicted was weird. But the only reason that worked is because Bernthal's a good actor.
Oh no,
That's the only reason.
Oh, and I love it. But my biggest problem with him is that he also does the Wolverine thing where he's like.
The grunting of Punisher I often found weird.
Yes,
I would agree.
And it was all the time. He was.
I think also though, that was because John Bernthal played Shane in The Walking Dead, and all he did in that show was rub his head and grunt.
Yeah.
For the 2 seasons that he was in that show, that is all he did. He went like this and grunted and killed zombies.
So like,
Lord.
I at some point I fell off of the comic and the show.
Finish the Walking Dead comic.
Okay.
The comic is so good.
I've gotten like pretty far. I know at least like, I can't even like I know I got to the prison for sure, but like way past that, or not way past that, but a little past that. Like, but like the show kind of just like waffles. Sometimes it's really good. The effects are amazing.
It becomes a soap opera.
Yeah.
It's the same thing I stopped after like a couple episodes after Negan whacked what's his name?
Glenn. Yeah. Oh no, that's as far as I got in the book. I remember that in the book. Yeah.
Oh, and the redhead dude.
So when he killed the redhead guy, I forget his name. Abraham, thank you, Abraham. When he kills Abraham, I was like, that's a bold choice. I dig it, but sure, why not? But then he just turns around and whacks Glenn. I started cheering. I was so fucking happy.
Well, okay, like it's the in my mind it's storytelling like you don't like it's the keeping characters around forever because they're fucking like they're soulless puppets that you like just make money off of all the time. Like the cat, like all these every superhero has died and come back. It like just for
That's why I love Game of Thrones.
Yeah, no, it was
just fucking kill people.
Yeah.
So I got through half of season 4 for that show, and
watch everything but the last season.
because I was watching it while season 8 was about to come out, right? So
Okay.
season 8 begins is when my season 4 began, and I'm watching it. Then I hear about how the show ends and how terrible
It's
that was,
not that
and
bad.
it killed my motivation. It killed my motivation wanting to watch it.
I read all 5 of the books, so at this point I guess I'm like I have like too much of an investment to be like I have to like, but no, like this leads me to one of the funniest like I was at my staying at my mom's house and I was watching. This is another spoiler alert. It's like in the episode. It's like an episode where like I was like in the dark watching Game of Thrones, and my mom comes in, and I'm just like bawling my eyes out because like some fucking character on the show died, and I'm just like fucking. It was just like it was the funniest like timing of it. You know what I mean? Like it was just like.
That is the one thing that, I mean, while the show, the story is great, and then killing off characters left and right is fantastic.
Well, I just like it's more about the world than it is the characters. I think it's more like, and that's my mind. And
that's what's kept Marvel going.
And that's the thing too. But I wish there was like a thing where like it didn't always have to revert back to like some sort of status quo that always like that's the thing with these comics is you're gonna get some new shit, you know what I mean? You're gonna get Falcon being Captain America or whatever.
Yeah.
But then Steve's gonna come back at some point, you know what I mean? And it's.
Do you think they're gonna bring back Chris Evans? I don't think.
Oh, in the movies, most definitely they will bring him back at some like fucking big ass point. So everyone will just fucking Spider-Man Homecoming all over their pants, like.
I don't think so. I'm gonna be honest. They might try, but I don't think Chris Evans is gonna say yes.
You know what? At this point, I like you drop off like you just like fucking drop off dump trucks full of money at their houses. You know what I mean? Like it's like for like 1 day's worth of work. You know what I mean? It's gonna be.
Oh, for a cameo, maybe.
Yeah, like.
Cameo, yeah. I'm 100% cameo.
Well, what's interesting
as Old Man Steve, but not.
That's gonna fucking happen.
Like, yeah, that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna bring back Steve Rogers, Captain America.
What about the rumors about fucking?
So you're gonna go to Doctor Strange, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay, so that movie, I'm worried about.
It's all over the place.
I love Sam Raimi. I think he's a
and he's a very horror director. He loves tentacles, like
yeah,
and screaming woman.
Yeah.
So, but like, I'm hearing all these rumors where it's like Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart, Tobey Maguire is confirmed to come back, and then we've got fucking Eoin Gifford from the original Fantastic Four.
Oh,
he's coming back. Chris Evans is gonna be the fucking Human Torch.
This is like internet rumors though too.
There's like Ghost Rider for Nick Cage. Ben Affleck's Daredevil has been approached. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it's the Ralph Boner thing. It's they're trying to boner us again.
I would. Okay, not to get banned from YouTube again, but I would cause harm to people if it meant that I could go back in time to the first 4 weeks of WandaVision. That was such a beautiful time because I was like, oh, what is this? Something new from Marvel? What could it be? And then it was like, okay, episode 5 is our explainer of what's going on. Wanda's in control. Okay, bring the casual audiences up to speed. But the nerds have known for the past 3 episodes. Okay, cool. But then it started getting a little bit worse. I got worried. And then, but they brought in Quicksilver, Evan Peters. We watched it the night it came out. We stayed until fucking 3 in the morning. We watched it. I remember looking at her and going, we're getting the X-Men. We're getting the X. Because my dream for the MCU has been to wipe out the Fox movies, but bring the cast. Because that cast is perfect.
Some of the cast is great, but like, wow, I cannot divorce it from Bryan Singer's sex pervert.
Yeah, I get that 100%, and I mostly agree. But like, how are you gonna waste people like Michael Fassbender, Sophie Turner, James McAvoy?
Just Patrick Stewart. That's my dream casting as a child. That was the one. You know.
So like, but I see Quicksilver, and I'm like, X-Men, awesome, and then. Yeah, the season finale.
They bonered you.
It's some random.
They were edging you so you would come harder. Like when Spider-Man, the 3 Spider-Mans came out. That's what they were doing. It was strategic.
But how fucking disrespectful is that? Because no, think about it. Because when the season finale for WandaVision came out, they were actively filming Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. So it's like, no. They're like, no. Fuck Evan Peters and the whole X-Men stuff. But Spider-Man? The first movie to make $100 million, or to make $100 million in a weekend, Spider-Man. Oh yeah, you can come here and we'll do your multiverse stuff. But the X-Men, you mean the foundation of Marvel, cast aside Fantastic Four? Yeah, fuck you guys. We're not gonna do you. But sure, the 3 webheads will do that. How disrespectful Chakra was that?
I have an X-Men.
Suck it, puto.
I have an X-Men 2 tattoo. I remember going to the first one and being disappointed by the first X-Men movie. I remember the second movie's amazing.
Yeah.
There's a few that are really good. I really do appreciate Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. By the time he became fucking Logan, Old Man Logan, and he fucking died, and they had the cross. And she fucking turns it sideways and it's a fucking X. I was like, they fucking got me. I fucking
I bawled.
They got me.
Bawled.
They fucking got me.
Like, yeah, he's not a man of God. He's an X-Man.
Yeah, no, and it was like one of those things where they earned that shit. It was like 15 years of him being Hugh Jackman, you know, or no, not him. He was always Hugh Jackman.
Him being Logan. No,
yeah,
totally.
Yeah, no, and it wasn't even my first choice. I thought he was weird, doughy in the first movie, and he was. But he, by the time he got to Days of Futures Past, he was carved out of wood. He was like the fucking
that scene in the beginning when the guys shoot him and his bone claws come out. That is next level. Because you got to think about this, right? Whether it's these actors in the Marvel movies, and I say specifically Marvel because. The only jacked people in the DC universe right now are all trained by Snyder, and he's openly against steroids. But if you look,
I don't know. Cena, he's probably a steroid.
Well, that's not enough. Cena is fucking geared to the gills. Oh my god! Every time we watch Peacemaker, she asks me the same question. She goes, "Are his veins supposed to look like that?"
Oh yeah. Okay, so dead ass. When I was watching that with Lucy, I knew his varicose vein on his bicep was bad. I didn't know it went all the way the fuck up to his chest.
Yeah,
dude, that's
it's scary.
Not good.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, you get clots.
That man's heart's probably
But anyway, what you got to think about with the Marvel superheroes or the Marvel actors that get super jacked, or even professional bodybuilders, right? You got to remember the real famous ones. They have a small, maybe even a large, but usually a small team of scientists behind them.
Oh yeah, they have
that are concocting these insane just steroid cocktails of Trin, Anavar, Test, D-ball, fucking everything under the planet to make these guys fucking perfect, right?
That's how you turn Camille Nanjiani from a stick figure to
being a god,
yeah.
An Indian god,
a literal god, yeah.
Splice and everything nice.
Yeah.
He knocked the glass. Steroids.
Yeah. So it's funny going back and watching the old school X-Men and seeing, or even the Raimi Spider-Man films, that scene in the first one where Peter stands in front of the mirror and he has abs and a decent chest. He's natural, and he's like, "Oh, I'm built for a nerd." And it's yeah, good job. Or he looks like X-Men 1 and 2 Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Where he's lean. He's not big. He's just lean. And then you go to Days of Future Past, where he's a tank with maybe 1% body fat.
No, exactly. It's gross.
If that, it's insane. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you remember in X-Men 2 when Wolverine got shot in the head and then he fell down and died for 2 minutes? That pissed me off so bad. I was like, Wolverine would take a bullet to the head and then just be mad. That, I don't know. That it's just stupid nitpicking shit that made me not like those series as a kid. But I mean,
well, the scene when Stryker's force
takes the
convention and he's just running through cutting people up.
Well, he's sharing a beer with Iceman. It's an amazing that is the X-Men scene. Really that's why X-Men 2 is really awesome for me. I just don't like. I mean, even First Class, which I will call Worst Class, because the movie's okay. It's fine. But you chose the worst class of X-Men. You have
It's weird who they chose for that team.
Sorry, I was just thinking real quick. So you're talking about that scene in, is it the first X-Men when he gets shot in the head by the
It's
cop?
in the second one. They're at Iceman's house. It's the Iceman comes out to his parents.
He passes out, right? Okay. So is that still in canon line when he gets shot in the head with the adamantine bullet? Technically before that?
Yeah, that's way earlier.
So would that make sense that he has a hole in his adamantine?
But see, when you start asking,
you have to. This is some Star Wars shit when you have to you have to make up stories to
because of how messy that got when you started doing stuff like Origins, where it's like, do we count Origins?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they fucked Deadpool. They fucked him good and well.
That was the worst.
I remember watching that movie.
And work with a mouth.
Yeah, when I started, like, when I watched that movie, I had been decent into comics. I was only, like, 12 when that movie came out, I think.
Yeah.
I was in middle school. But I remember watching it and I read comics with Deadpool. I didn't like read like specifically Deadpool yet.
Yeah.
But I read comics with Deadpool. I knew who he was. But I remember watching that movie and going, who the fuck is the dude with the katanas? Wait, who's this mutant or whatever? And yeah, no, to find out in high school, like years later, that I was supposed to be Deadpool, made me mad for a whole weekend.
That's so yeah. No, I knew he was better. You know what's funny about that movie? Did you ever watch the like pre-CG version of the movie that was released before the movie came out? So like the movie.
Find that, please,
if
you could.
There's like before the movie dropped, like there was a pirated version of the movie that released without the CG, so it had like the weird like pre-CG like silver claws. We watched the whole movie like a week before it came out. That ruined that movie too. Like, is that shit like?
Oh, fuck you, BuzzFeed, but...
No, it like... We watched it like on like a bootleg before it even came out, and that ruined it for me too. Like, I mean, not that movie's good.
The only good part of that movie is the opening scene where him and Sabretooth are running.
Oh yeah, that like the montage of them like.
Yeah.
And like, there's a lot there. Like, I love like
that's understandable.
The Weapon X stuff. Like, I like that era of Wolverine. I love like they're erasing his memory. Did you ever read the Weapon X book?
So I haven't read all of it. I've read bits and pieces because it's in. I have the Wolverine omnibus, the first one,
okay.
and that's in it. So I've read bits and pieces of it.
The Barry Windsor Smith, like he's just in this loop of like he doesn't know, like he keeps escaping and he doesn't like know if it's reality. You know what I mean? He keeps killing the same lady over and over again. It's an amazing story. It's like one of the best comics ever. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
But I just, to bring this conversation back to where it started with Doctor Strange 2.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do.
Let's bring in the Josh Trank Fantastic Four. Let's bring in fucking let's bring in like all the terrible stuff. Yeah.
So I knew that movie was gonna suck. I knew it was. But the only reason I went to the theater to watch, because I love Fantastic Four.
I had free tickets, that's why I went.
The reason why I paid for that is it was my buddy's birthday, but also because I loved the cast.
Chronicle was good too.
Chronicle was fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
And should we be seeing this too?
Oh my god.
We're watching something off screen and we don't know what the fuck it is.
I know what it is, yeah.
Where'd you find that?
It's
on YouTube?
Yeah.
It's the non-CG Wolverine.
But so, because I love the cast. Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan, I forget the kid that plays the Thing, and then Kate Mara.
Yeah.
I love that cast.
That's a fun,
and that's another one
And Homeboy played Doom. Tony Kimball.
The version of Doom they went with was terrible. But I doubt it goes higher than that.
That's all you're getting. I don't even think there's sound.
It's like the whole...
Go to the sound settings on the PC to see if it's going through or not. I forgot this fight even happened.
It's at Chernobyl. They caused Chernobyl.
What?
Yeah. This is what causes Chernobyl. Yeah, see, like the pre-render CG, it's amazing. He has like bamfing powers. He has like it's just so bad. But you know what? Liev Schreiber should have showed up in fucking Logan.
Yeah, that would have been cool because I don't mind him as Sabretooth.
No,
I really don't.
Like he looks cool as Sabretooth. Sabretooth has like one of the dumbest, if not the dumbest, like superhero costumes ever. Oh yeah, see like all it goes into all that stuff, like the pre-render like full like gray scenes.
Yeah, that's the wires on him. That's funny. I mean, I'll be honest, dude. This kind of gives me a little more of like a perspective on what it takes to make these fucking movies.
Oh no, it's hard. It really is. I've been an extra like on movies and stuff like that. I was on Waco, and like
That's a great show.
I spent the whole entire like summer like recording for that thing. And there's one scene where you can see the back of my head for like, or no, not even the back of my head. I come out of a cabin holding a human baby. You can see the baby like in focus, but you can see me kind of blurry. It's just, I was like, I spent the whole.
Oh, wait, were you a cabin?
On the Ruby Ridge.
I was about to say, were you the fucking Ruby Ridge?
I was on Ruby Ridge, yeah.
What the fuck? Okay, so to explain the meme that I sent you like a week ago. So Ruby Ridge was, for people who listening who don't know, Ruby Ridge was an incident where the ATF decided, the long story short is the ATF decided to hunt down this dude who literally lived in a cabin in the woods with his family. It was the most like classic American setup.
Yeah.
It's him, his wife, kid, and the dog. And they got a bullshit search warrant for his house.
What was the inciting incident though? There was a reason to go there. Like I know
There was a incident they falsely tied him to, and then the reason for the search warrant is they falsely tied him to some domestic terrorism incident,
Okay.
and then it was also because they believed he had sawn-off shotguns, which is illegal, but that's the reasoning they had. So the long story short is they end up killing the dude, the wife, the kid, and the dog. They kill all of them, and there's a conspiracy.
No, Ruby Ridge they surrendered, and then in Waco they killed everybody.
I'm pretty sure everyone dies in Ruby Ridge, right?
Well, in the TV show that I was in, they all surrendered.
I know they killed the wife and the dog, and the dude's dead.
Oh no, they did end up shooting the wife. That's what it was. And like
I remember I think we talked about this once before too.
A couple times.
What happened was the sons or something were out walking around with hunting rifles on the property, and then an FBI guy thought that he was going to shoot them, and he fucking took one of them out.
Yes.
And then
they went back to the cabin, right?
Yeah.
And then the mom caught one, right?
Yeah, and then the mom went out.
That's what happened.
And then she caught a fucking bullet too.
And they killed the dog too.
Yeah, the dog obviously got
Yeah, and then because the ATF, yeah.
But no, yeah, so it was something like that. I'll keep reading about it. But I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
So anyway, Waco, the only thing I didn't like about that show is they gave like a little bit too much sympathy
to the Waco people,
to the leader.
Yeah, no, for sure they did.
Because like the dude,
they were weirdos stuff.
Like they mentioned it,
Koresh.
right? David Koresh. They mentioned that he was involved with 15 and 16-year-olds, but in real life he was
a really fucking
he was a pedophile. Like he legit married 15 and 16-year-olds under this Branch Davidian religion that they created.
They built the full facade of the house and stuff like that, and they I wasn't there when they burned it, but they burned it for the show. At one point, I was with the actor Shea Wiggum, and we were standing I was standing right next to him, and they had the speakers, and they were playing it's the part where they're blaring boots.
The psyop part of it, yeah.
Yeah, the boots were made for walking, and he's just light them up, boys. It was really funny. And I met fucking Michael Shannon. I met Zod.
No shit.
He was a fucking.
Well, he was one of the ATF agents.
Yeah, I never actually met him but he was just there, and he was always just fucking bug-eyed and chain smoking the entire time, just yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, that was a really good show. I'm glad they showed how unorganized and just really shooting from the hip the ATF was with all that.
Oh yeah, I mean the whole thing was bad. There was no good guys.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you guys. So it was Sammy, the 14-year-old son, and Kevin Harris, Weaver's friend. The ATF went out there with six marshals went out there. They threw a rock at the house to see the dog's reaction. The dog obviously was what the fuck? So the dog started going out in the woods to see what was going on. The kids followed because they thought the dog was on some small game. They kept going to the woods. The ATF retreated about 500 yards to a junction on the road. The dog caught wind. One of them yelled, "Stop, U.S. Marshal." It says that by their account. The dog ran at them. They shot the dog. Sammy saw that, so Sammy started shooting at them.
Right.
And then they both took cover because they started shooting back. Harris just fucking shot, I guess, unaimed, and killed one of the marshals. And then as Sammy tried to take off back up the hill to the house, he got shot in the back.
Right. Okay. I know that was one of the big things. They shot
That's
someone.
what started it.
They
Well,
shot someone in the back.
running away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Waco thing's a clusterfuck. They don't know like what the happened. With
Well,
that
because
shit.
they had half-cocked reasons.
There's
for
gasoline in the house. You know what I mean? Like there was like supposedly like a you know, like a non-lethal round started it on fire. You know what I mean? Like
So-
a smoke round or something like that. Like,
Yeah, it was supposed to be. It was an ATF agent that was fucking their claim, and please fact check me on this, but their claim is that when they started trying to get into the house, an ATF agent that went by a window got shot at. Then he killed a woman, and then that started the gunfire.
Well, you've seen that there's a really famous video of the dude on the roof and getting shot at. Like,
Yeah.
The cop, yeah.
Yeah, but that's their claim. There's also claims where it was the ATF that shot first, and then they started the whole shenanigans happened. But
It's one of those fucking can of worms. We'll never know the real story anyway.
no, you never will, because I mean, anyone who could advocate for the dead are dead.
Yeah, and I was in a shitty like movie. Like it wasn't even like for a major network. You know, what I mean, it wasn't like an HBO show. It was like a fucking like. I forget what network it was originally on, but this is not a very.
Well, it's
on Netflix now, but
yeah,
but like
that's when it became huge.
Yeah.
Was because it got released on Netflix. But
Yeah.
I think it was on like Fox or something, and they
no, it wasn't even Fox. It was one of those like cable channels. It was just buried like.
and they didn't do a whole lot of marketing for it.
No,
for that.
it wasn't, and like, but it was fun. That was when I did a lot of extra stuff. You know what I mean? It doesn't pay well, but you just like
Do it.
yeah, you just get to meet actors and stuff like that, and like free food and shit.
But so, because again, I still have theories about Doctor Strange too.
Okay, yeah, no, I like it. I love wild speculation. That's one of my favorite. Like,
Because one of the theories that we've both been working on is that they're doing House of M in reverse.
okay, I like that.
Is that they're having Wanda bring the mutants into the MCU.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea.
Or like reveal them, or some shit. Because
More mutants.
what's it been like? They called Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver miracles, right?
Yeah.
They weren't
That was like a long time ago too.
in Age of Ultron.
Well, they've waffled so hard on their characters. They turned them into fucking like Inhumans in that time, and they're not mutants. I hate all that shit.
Yeah. So I think that's what they might end up doing is doing like the House of M in reverse. But what I'm scared of, like, an MCU movie having a razor thin plot is pretty standard now.
Yeah, no, they're
But
yeah.
but a razor thin plot veiled by cameo after cameo after cameo after cameo.
Well, Spider-Man proved that you just like all you gotta do is just be like, remember this shit, remember this.
But
shit.
they handled it really well.
Oh no, it was really well done, and they earned it. It was like the Logan thing. They earned it.
Yeah, but I just don't trust them. Well, I don't think they earned it. I think they did it well, but Spider-Man Far From Home and Spider-Man Homecoming are dog shit.
Okay, I love Mysterio, but I get what you're saying.
You know, it's not.
And I love the Vulture, like the Vulture scene where he's like in the car.
Yes.
is like one of
Yes.
those, like it's awesome.
Well, there's great moments in those movies, and you're right. The villains are fantastic, but like the genius of Far From Home is they turned that whole trilogy into an origin story.
Yeah.
Right, so you can go back in retrospect and say, well, he wasn't really Spider-Man yet. He just was just kind of trying to figure out his life.
Yeah,
you know?
like and all that stuff, like well, her being his Uncle Ben, that's an interesting trait. Like I don't get mad at changing the source material. I really do like different adaptations and stuff like that, having different things I do like that, she's his Uncle Ben. She's the reason why he is going
Different
forward.
Spider-Man, different Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
Well, see, I agree to a point. I think that there are, while you can change the way you're adapting, like you just said a little bit ago with Batman, everyone has their own version.
Oh, everyone has their own Batman.
So you can have your own Spider-Man, and that's fine, but you need to keep the elements of that character the same.
And that's why the multiversal Spider-Man stuff has been so good, because they understand who he is without being the same character.
Exactly. You need to keep certain things the same thing. It's like saying Batman was created. It's like saying Batman's parents never died.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
so
he would just be the biggest jerk ever.
Come on. So
He'd be
you
really
don't
Christian
like
Bale.
that Aunt May was Tom Holland's Uncle Ben?
I hate that.
Why?
I think that's because Uncle Ben is Uncle Ben. And that's just something that's like so ingrained in me as like a at my level of Spider-Man fan that I am. Now, granted,
What about Miles? Miles' Uncle Ben is the Prowler.
boy, that's Miles Morales. It's not Peter Parker.
I was talking strictly Peter Parker.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing.
This cinematic universe Peter Parker.
But the genius of Far From Home was that I think that they recognized in the writing room how fucked they were with the first 2 real Spider-Man iterations they had in the MCU.
Yeah.
Because up until Far From Home, Tom Holland's best outing was Civil War.
Oh, no, it was.
You know what I mean? So I think they realized how fucked they were, and they're like, okay, how do we kind of redirect this into something that resembles Spider-Man? Because really, I hate saying this because everyone says on the internet, but Tom Holland was Iron Man Jr.
No,
he got all of his tricks and all of his tech and all of his things from.
And that's like some
later
weird
comic
like Civil War the comic book thing that like they kind of like.
which came after decades of Spider-Man,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Yeah, Spider-Man was already established.
Yeah, like I don't.
Well,
think,
and
that's
Spider-Man was always popular. Iron Man was never that popular.
which I think is hilarious.
Yeah.
that Iron Man's the biggest thing now. When like before 2008, he was like a C-level hero.
Well, like even like there's like the era where like they've made so many bad mistakes in the 90s and the 2000s with Iron Man. Like there was like where he became a bad guy and there was Arno Stark and that shit was awful. And then there was the stuff where like his armor was in love with him and stuff like that.
I've heard about that.
It's just bad. Like,
So apparently in Doctor Strange 2, the heavy rumor right now is Tom Cruise being superior Iron Man.
I like that idea.
And I think that's the perfect Iron Man for Tom Cruise.
I think. Well, and like if you wanted to put Tom Cruise into the MCU, that's because he
was supposed to be.
Yeah, no, exactly, yeah.
But apparently he has 3 Infinity they call them stones. So he's supposed to have 3 Infinity Stones, and he keeps the decapitated head of Thanos in the jar.
That sounds a little bit mort, but whatever. Like,
Yeah, so that's gonna be interesting. But so my point is with Spider-Man is No Way Home recognized how screwed up they were with their story. And they're like, okay, we need an Uncle Ben moment. So they gave us 2, actually. And I remember when the rumors of Tobey Maguire started circulating out, I remember thinking, like, Tobey Maguire should be the one to give him the great power comes great responsibility speech.
That would be
fantastic. Because what I thought would be cool, they didn't do it obviously, but what I thought would be cool is to have a moment where May sees, because we haven't seen Uncle Ben yet. So where May sees the other Spider-Man, and in the MCU, Tobey Maguire is Uncle Ben that died. But in, obviously, the Raimiverse, he's Spider-Man. So that would be a really... the execution would have to be weird, but I think it would be interesting if May saw Tobey and called him Ben.
There is reference to Ben in the MCU, right? There's like a suitcase.
It's his suitcase, that's it.
Yeah.
Which is, again, disrespectful. That's fucking stupid. So
no, okay, it's like the new Batman movie. They're skipping origins. I get it. Like I get the idea of just like skipping the origin. I like just get right into it.
So skipping an origin but keeping elements is okay.
We're like at this point, like the everybody knows how Batman became Batman.
Right, but imagine if we if we go through an entire Batman movie with Pattinson, like if we go through this whole movie and they do not mention the Wayne murders. That's gonna piss me off.
Okay,
because that is Batman.
If they mention it, that's fine. But how many times do I have to see those 2 fucking people get murdered over and over and over?
Okay, so I'm kind of with you on this one. Like, how many times do I have to watch the split cut scene of memory, slow-mo gun, pearls flying?
Hey, I'm sorry, but
dead woman and man. Batman.
No, it's like. We leave the opera and then we turn like, honey, our car's down this really, really dark alley.
Which is the worst. Which was like one of my biggest complaints with Joker, the movie. Was like you were doing so well, but you had to do a Wayne murder in a Batman.
Oh no! And then he's like doesn't even like tussle his hair and everything. You're just like. He meets little Bruce Wayne, you're just like, no, like, in 30 years, this guy's gonna kick your ass.
What was funny, though, I will say with that little Bruce Wayne scene, was watching Bruce Wayne go down the like jungle gym pole like Adam West does in the TV show. I thought that was a cool nod. But anyway, so...
I love that show. That show is like I mean, that one and Batman '89 are like what made me love comic books forever. And then it was like the animated series and X-Men and Spider-Man animated series. and comics. Actually, the X-Men #1 that had like the 5 issues that you'd like get it at Target. But it's all the same issue. Like it's that same like Jim Lee, Chris Claremont.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. No, you can't go wrong with Claremont's.
Well, and the fucked up thing is that like the editorial was like, you know what? I know you've been like building like Magneto's redemption arc for 20 years now, but like we want you to make him a bad guy again.
But watching him tear down Auschwitz in Apocalypse was dope. Shitty movie.
Oh
don't
yeah.
see.
Oh no! And then there's the other scene where he like puts the quarter through all the Nazis' heads or whatever.
Yeah.
Like there's amazing scenes. Like X-Men 2 has the Nightcrawler infiltrating the White
Correct.
House. That's
Great
like one of the sickest superhero scenes you'll ever get.
Yeah.
And then I think I hate to even give Bryan Singer sex pervert any credit, but all the Quicksilver stuff is amazing too. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. It's we're gonna have one really awesome scene where we're gonna put as much movie making as we can do into it.
But to kind of bring this back around, I have fucking ADD. I want to get this point across.
No, yeah. I'm glad you have you keep bringing us back because I'm more on tangents. You know, just launch.
Which I love because fucking again, like we were saying beforehand, I love because I can talk nerdy shit with him, with her, but not really anybody else.
That's pretty much me. Yeah.
But so yeah, making Aunt May Uncle Ben, I don't enjoy because Uncle Ben is Uncle Ben. But in the writers' room, they found what they did wrong. And it was, I think for me, there was absolutely no consequences to what Tom Holland does.
No.
Right? Except for the whole Edith. Edith was the first real consequence.
And that was weird. He just you give a child
dumb.
Yeah.
And then it was no Uncle Ben. So what are you going to do? Okay, in this new movie, not only going to bring back the goodwill of the hardcore fans and give them Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield back. You're going to check those boxes. Cool. But you're going to give them 2 great power, great responsibility moments. You're gonna give him the hard one, the real emotional one with Aunt May dying, which is cool. That was a very well executed scene. And then to have them turn around and have your first moment with all 3 Spider-Men and Marvel. Marvel has a horrible habit of making jokes left and fucking right.
Oh, and they make it the weirdest part.
But to have their first meeting be emotional and be grounding and be hey man, listen, Toby has gone down the path of love with MJ. He seems to have his life control. He might have actually retired as Spider-Man for a little bit, or maybe a part-time Spider, and he's figured out his life.
Have you sorry, tangent?
Yeah.
Spider-Man Reign? The Dark Knight for Spider-Man? Where he poisons Mary
Jane, getting her pregnant. Yes. Yes, I told you it's real. I told you.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, that's a very weird story.
And Doc Ock is just his tentacles and a corpse.
Yeah.
I like that story though.
Yeah, where the tentacles outlive Octavius. Yeah, it's weird, but it's good. But anyway, so you have that Spider-Man, and then you have Andrew Garfield, where he never got over Gwen's death. And he's become almost superior Spider-Man without the Octavius going into his head.
He's almost like Punisher Spider-Man.
Yeah. So that's awesome that they had his first interaction with the other 2 Spider-Men be emotional and grounding, and then you get the fact that, like you just said, there are elements of Spider-Man that cannot change, and that is what makes them recognize that he's legitimately Peter, not just because he can shoot webs or crawl on walls. It's because of with the experiences that he's had and the way he carries himself, his philosophies, that makes him Spider-Man.
Yeah, he doesn't have the privilege of Iron Man to be a rich person to
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then another thing I really loved about No Way Home was they recognized how well they did Octavius and Osborn.
They said that those actors, there's no one else who could do that.
You can't really do that
and that's,
again.
Yeah, no.
And so to have them come back and not be, the actors said themselves in an interview, and not be cash grabs, and not just be these little cameo, wink and walk away, but to have again, I think the storytelling of that movie was so good because Marvel, again, horrible habit of not spoon feeding, but getting a fucking ladle and shoving this exposition and just this bullshit down your throat because they think the audience are 5-year-olds, which by demographics, most of them are.
Well, that's
But
Probably not, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
they have the brain of a 5-year-old. But the thing is they had they had elements of the story that are not spoon-fed to you. They had Green Goblin be this, even with Andrew, right? They had Green Goblin with all three Spider-Men be this constant force of terror for them, right? Toby completely fucked his world up. His first villain was this like megalomaniac. Andrew Garfield, yeah, his Green Goblin was pretty bad and got shoehorned in, but it killed the love of his life. And now the first interaction that Tom Holland has with the Goblin, he gets fucking tossed around a condo complex, body slammed through like floors, and then he gets his Aunt May grenaded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to have those common threads be so well respected in that movie, and then again, they managed to turn 2 movies into an origin story, complete it out with a trilogy.
And then they left you on a blank slate. They left.
To see,
I want to see street level Spider-Man. I want to see
Same.
Tombstone. I want to see Mr. Negative.
Yes, Tombstone.
Yeah.
Yes. I want to see
Kingpin. I want to see him team up with the Daredevil and Punisher. Like, yeah, I want to see all of them in the same movie. Like,
yes, I totally fucking agree, and I think that we can have a great movie because now Peter doesn't know where he is. Nobody knows who Peter is.
Oh,
So
Theory. Sorry, I've been thinking about this since I thought about it once the movie ended, and I was talking with Lucy, and she was like, because she's a fucking bureaucrat. She was like, how does he get all his information? Why didn't he just go back to high school? I was like, I don't fucking know. They're gonna answer that in the next movie.
he got his GAD. He's like an Albuquerque person.
Right, but she's like, why didn't he just go back to high school?
No one knows who he is. I don't know. No, it's one of those things in comic books though, where if you think about it too hard,
No,
you
Exactly.
will cross
And
out.
she was diving into that, and I was like, okay, fuck it.
Here's how
Here's how they're gonna do it. They're gonna get fucking. He knows who fucking Matt Murdock is. He obviously knows he's not fucking blind because he's. Okay, maybe he's stupid, but I don't think he's that stupid. I'm just a good lawyer. Oh, all right. But so I think he's gonna go to Matt Murdock and be like, hey, I fucking need help. I lost my whole fucking identity. Like, I know you're not fucking just some blind fucking lawyer dude. And Matt Murdock with his lawyer fucking magic is gonna like help him like set all that shit up. Find out he's Daredevil. He's gonna find out he's fucking Spider-Man. Some fucking weird way.
Yeah. I agree. It's gonna be something like that, or it's gonna be something because you gotta.
Maybe.
They missed an opportunity with the new one, where like the movie should have ended like like Spider-Man in his new life, like the multiversal thing, and then like the fucking Rent guy. He's just like Rent.
That would have been the greatest cameo. But yeah, I think it's gonna be something like that, or it's gonna be because again, Marvel is Marvel, and they're not gonna get away from their Marvelisms.
No,
because the Avengers, everyone knows who Spider-Man is.
Yes.
Everyone knows that Spider-Man's a hero. They just don't know that Peter Parker. So Spider-Man might go to an Avenger, or might go to a Nick Fury, or might go to somebody and say, "Hey, like I'm kind of fucked right now. Can you please plot armor this and get me out of this situation?" And they carry on with the story.
Well, fuck. Like, okay, like the thing with the like, you had your post-credit scene for the last movie be like he's outed, and then the first 10 minutes of the movie you solve that shit. Like that's so weird. That's like some weird story.
There's rumors that there was a lot of deleted moments.
I just saw something that there's like a bigger 100 minutes or some shit.
Well, the first act was supposed to be like 30 minutes longer. Like they were supposed to have court scenes with him and Matt Murdock, and then it was gonna be him. Like you know how they kind of just like montage through the seasons.
Yeah.
Right. There's more time of him in there.
Have you seen the director's cut of Daredevil? Like
yeah, it's fantastic.
With like Coolio, and he has it's a better movie.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Like
yeah.
it's and I don't hate that Daredevil movie. It's bad. It's bad. The fucking playground fight. It's fucking bad.
Yeah.
But Michael Clark Duncan is the Kingpin.
Fantastic.
But it's like it's in the let the bodies hit the floor era of superhero movies.
So funny thing with Drowning Pool, the ending of Thomas Jane's Punisher.
Yes, of course it is.
Drowning Pool. No, it's
Thomas Jane's Punisher. Fuck that motherfucker, because that Punisher symbol is the one that everyone like all the cops put on their fucking cars and everything like that. That's the symbol. That's the one. Like it's never like the really straight one or any of like the other symbols. There's been a million of them, but it's just that one.
It's the Thomas Jane one,
and it's close to the Chris Kyle like American Sniper one. Like
But at the end of his movie, it's "Step Up" by Drowning Pool, which I think is hilarious. But
I've never even heard that one.
It's a good song. Very good song. But with Spider-Man, I think I think again, I agree. The next movie needs to be street level.
Yeah.
And especially now that like you have Daredevil come back in his movie, you have Kingpin come back in Hawkeye.
They introduced Feast already.
Yeah. So you need to have you can bring back your Netflix people.
Yeah.
Right, and have like
I love
your hero. Have your hero.
I love Jessica Jones and Nick or Luke Cage.
Yeah.
I do not like the Iron Fist thing was the bad choice, but it wasn't necessarily the actor. It was more of like you needed to do a Marvel like cinematic universe movie for that. Like my favorite scene in like that I've ever read with the Iron Fist is like from it's Matt Fraction, his run, and at the end he fucking he fists a fucking bullet train at the end, and it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, Matt Fraction did wonders for him and for Hawkeye.
Yes,
did wonders.
That Hawkeye book is like amazing. Like David, I'd say I used to say Aja, but I think it's Aha. I don't know anymore.
I think so. I think that's how you pronounce it.
I think it's Aha. That's what I've heard it said after the fact, but I used to say Aja.
Yeah, I forget because he's the artist on that, right?
Yeah, I love the diagram stuff. Like he also did one of my it's Secret Avengers. It's like when Warren Ellis was writing Secret Avengers. It's like a book called Run the World, Save the Mission, Don't Get Seen. It was before he did Moon Knight, but it was like it was in the same kind of thing where it's just every issue is like a self-contained story.
Interesting.
And it's so awesome. The team was Beast, Moon Knight, like Captain. It was Steve Rogers, but he was like in his stealth suit. It was Natasha. It had Valkyrie, and they had Shang-Chi in it, and there's a fucking Shang-Chi issue by David Aja, and it's fucking amazing. They're fighting in this world that like with impossible like MC Escher fucking like geometry and shit like that, and it's so good. Like
it's the Secret Avengers.
Secret Avengers.
Can you look that up? Please?
Run the mission, save the world, don't get seen.
Huh. But
Warren Ellis, he did the Moon Knight stuff where he turned Moon Knight into like a Mr. Knight with with the white suit before
Right. Can you zoom in because my eyes suck?
See, that's from the Rick Remender. That issue right there is like that's later, but Beast is total. I love Beast as an Avenger. Beast is one of my favorite characters. He was growing up. He was my favorite character, like Beast and the Punisher. My rap name is Hank Castle. It's a combination of the two. Like Pink Floyd is a combination of the two favorite like blues people.
I don't know. What do you want to know more about it?
I'm just skimming this like you are. It's just interesting.
So, just text or just that's the team right there. That the picture with Moon Knight and like, but it got like it started in the Heroic Age, I guess, which was right after. So he's not Captain America anymore.
Oh, Ed Brubaker wrote it. No shit.
Yes, before Brubaker started the team. And then it's like Mike Deodato doing the art, and then it went to there's a Warren Ellis just one trade book. It's called Run the Mission, Save the World, Don't Get Seen, and it's like six different stories, and they're amazing.
No shit, that's dope. But yeah, so you bring up Moon Knight. We're about to get the TV show, so I would love to see all of that come together.
Me too.
And I would like. Because they kind of, sort of did Born Again in season 3 of Daredevil.
Yes.
So I would like to see now that Spider-Man doesn't really have an identity, Daredevil is back and they're probably going to soft reboot him. So have those two characters team up and they're trying to find their own way, but obviously through a team up and they have character roles. But to see them on screen together would be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so good to finally see Tom Holland, because I always loved his casting, but what they were doing. So to see him in a broke-ass apartment with a self-made suit, with a sewing machine, and have that final swing, granted that whole final swing was
delivering pizzas or some shit like
that sucks, but yeah, just to know that like now we can get a proper Spider-Man story.
It's taken us a long time. It's taken us 9 movies.
Yeah, to finally get to a proper Spider-Man, like It's good.
No.
It's good to know, but like it's funny because I remember after No Way Home came out, Tom Holland was like, "Well,
if I'm still Spider-Man by the time I'm 30, I might be doing something wrong. I don't know what the future is. But then, like, this past week, he goes, no, I love being Spider-Man, and I can't wait to see what Kevin and Amy do next.
That means he has a schedule, like into the future until then.
That means Kevin and Amy sat him down and were like, listen, young man.
You have 3 more movies.
We just made $1 billion in a pandemic. You ain't going fucking
You are the
anywhere.
most popular motherfucker, like in fiction, basically. Like Harry Potter and fucking...
Which is hilarious.
Fuck hard can suck it, or whatever.
Which is hilarious because Uncharted's gonna tank.
Oh, it looks terrible.
It looks so bad.
It looks so bad.
Like, it's just gonna look horrible. Or it looks horrible, but...
I've only seen that one scene where he's like hopping from box to box to get back in the plane.
I played that part in the game, and it was fun. And
Yeah,
it does not
it's
look like
a video game.
Fucking, yeah, it's a video
Okay,
game.
but like the thing about Uncharted, I love it, but you're the good guy, but you murder like 3,000 people through the whole game. There's no stealth option. You can't or there's stealth in the game, but you can't like get through anything without murdering everyone. It's like,
well, like, look, you want a good Uncharted movie or Uncharted adapted movie? Watch Indiana Jones.
oh, that already happened, yeah.
Yeah, just watch Indiana Jones because that is what Uncharted is. They took Indiana Jones and said, "What if this was badass?"
Well,
and they created into this whole action set piece.
Well, it's weird because it was like first you had Tomb Raider, and it inspired Uncharted, and then Uncharted did really well. That like Tomb Raider ripped that shit off. It's one of those genres that like it's like
They
the
keep
Ouroboros
feeding
eating
each
its own
other.
asshole. Like,
Yeah. Well, the new Tomb Raider games, the latest Tomb Raider games are not bad.
No, they're
I
really
enjoy
good.
them.
Like there's survival horror too. Like the newest one with like the young girl. Like there's too many ultraviolet ways to die. It's like brutal.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm almost through all of them. I had the last one to play, The Shadow of Something.
oh, that's the one I had. Like I just kind of like
Shadow of the Tomb
lost
Raider.
all. Like
Because I played. There's only
It's still-
3 of them, right?
It's pretty open world, and there's I'm
so.
sick of open world games at this point.
And that's my issue is I have a hard time getting to the grind of them.
Yeah.
But I really just sat down and finished that second one because I like the story's great. Not like the best story, but like this. If you just fucking blow through everything else and kind of just fucking say fuck it and don't go look for all like the fucking.
Some games I've gotten to the point where
Yeah,
I'm like that
things.
now. I'm at the point
Yeah.
where I'm not gonna completionist all this shit because like these games just don't get me there. There's not just there's certain ones that do, you know what I mean? But like I'm just retreating into. I made a little Raspberry Pi into like a retro gaming system, and it has like 10,000 games on it. I just play everything from NES to like PlayStation on it.
Nice.
I'm just kind of really picky with my stuff. Like I think the first time we ever talked, it was about Elden Ring.
So I was about to say. So speaking that you're sick of open world games, Elden Ring
It's just about to go Elden Ring.
is the open world.
But I also have given up on trying to get a PS5.
So
well, fair.
funny story real quick. So I can tell you the exact moment I got sick of grinding out games. It's when the last Star Wars game came out. What was it called again?
Fallen Order.
Yeah, Fallen Order came out, and I sat my ass down, and just 100% of that game in like one run.
It was like Dark Souls, like light.
Yeah, and I 100% of the whole fucking game. Like I found everything. I did every achievement, and that's when it started. And now I just found out that they're gonna come out with a fucking new Star Wars game.
Yep.
That's supposed to be Fallen Order on steroids.
There's a sequel. Yeah.
Well, so they're doing
so many playable characters.
So they're doing a proper Fallen Order sequel,
Nice.
but then they're also doing Star Wars.
I'll find it.
What was that cryptic trailer they got? You know what I'm talking
Oh,
about?
that's the one.
That looked like Dune.
They're the people who do. They did Heavy Rain. And
Yes.
It's like
Star Wars Eclipse.
It's all
Eclipse.
Star Wars.
So they're
it's
doing
all,
that.
story-based shit.
Yes,
Like,
and
it's a new era, though. I love the fact that it's a fucking new era. Like
Yeah.
Star Wars needs to get away from the Skywalkers.
yes, I agree. No, because I appreciate because I haven't I know what's going on in Boba Fett, but I haven't seen it.
This is the most mild spoiler. The last 2 episodes, he's a goddamn extra in his own show.
No, I know what's going on. Oh, with the whole like Luke shows up and then Grogu's there and Mandalorian is the main.
I wasn't even
character
gonna go
now.
that far, but I'm just saying the motherfucker literally like doesn't say a word in his own show. I'm like, they fucked up.
Which is where he needs to stay.
No, okay, they fucked up in general with this show because like as a kid I love Boba Fett, but like they did everything awesome about the character with Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's nothing cool about Boba Fett. He's just the fatter, older, balder version of Mandalorian.
Everything cool about Boba Fett, from like my knowledge of Star Wars, which admittedly is not a whole lot.
Well,
Everything cool about him that I found in like comic books. I didn't really see. There's nothing really cool about him in movies or TV shows.
No, he's like the epitome of like he looks cool as a character.
Yeah.
Like he has like awesome character design.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, I agree.
And that's where Star Wars like excels is awesome character design.
Because exactly, I appreciate the universe. I appreciate the shit out of the universe, but it's just hard to like
Doom 2.0.
really get into it.
No, but for me, like Star Wars is like a bunch of video games, like KOTOR, like Knights of the Old Republic. Like that's like some of the best at like examinations of the Force and stuff. Like KOTOR 2 is the best Star Wars thing ever. Like probably like.
So I only played the first one.
Okay.
I have both on the PC, but I've only played the first one. I mean I love the Force Unleashed games. Those were pretty dope. I like having fun with that. The updated version.
God of War, but with Star Wars.
Yeah.
The updated version of the new Battlefront 2 is legit.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
You know.
My favorite game ever is Metal Gear Solid. I'm like a Hideo Kojima nerd in that.
Oh, dude, I haven't gotten into those, but I've heard they're fantastic.
It's one of those things where like I was in like middle school and like the game told me that I had to like take the controller out of this port and put it into this other port so this motherfucker couldn't read my mind anymore. And I was like
wait, what?
it's a Psycho Mantis fight. It's like he knows everything you're doing because he's reading your controller port. So you have to like at some point pause the game, switch your controller to the other port, and like.
What Metal Gear Solid is that?
It's the first one.
Can you find that for me, please?
Yeah, the Psycho Mantis fight. It's one of the most like popular video game fights ever.
Holy shit!
It's on PS1, and I remember playing. This is like I grew up like playing Contra and like Mario and shit. I was like an NES person. I'm old. My first was a Game Boy, and I had Contra, Operation C, and then Mario, and like fucking like Mega Man. This had a full-on story. This is like fucking terrorists have nukes, so they're trying to take over.
Yeah, here's my old Game Boy.
Fuck yes.
Oh, and then funny enough, there's an old Super Mario Bros. For the Game Boy Color.
Nice. Yeah, and like at one point he reads your memory card and he's like, "Oh, I see you like action games. You've been playing Castlevania Symphony of the Night." Like.
Okay, you find that real quick, Joey. I gotta take a leak real quick. We'll keep it rolling. So you guys can talk about it. But I gotta take a leak real quick. But that's okay. I want to see that.
No, like.
I think I found it, but I don't know. Oh god, that's him.
Yeah, that's the guy. That's him.
Yeah. I'm just trying to see. I'm trying like to limit like how many videos we play.
Okay.
Just because like we had one podcast where like we spent like 30 minutes of it just like watching shit.
I've spent a lot of my life just watching YouTube videos, so I know exactly.
And it wasn't like anything like bad. Like we were just talking about those things, and the only way to like to show the person on the podcast what those things was to show them in the video, and like it was just a lot of dead airspace.
No, I get it.
Yeah. So, but
no, it's funny because like Metal Gear, like after this, like the second one has a part that they tried to like one up this stuff. So like you find out that like your commanding officer is an AI, and then you.
So is this actually in game? What it shows you?
Like
or
you have like the background is there, but like there's an overlay that like the pause the game, that all that stuff is not there. Like
okay.
So you do have to pause the game and then like go to that screen and like physically switch like the ports of the controllers. It's really funny.
And so is that like the game's telling you to do that, or you had to figure that out?
Well, like it's like through the whole game, this system right here, it's called the codec. It's like a little thing in your inner ear.
Yeah.
It's telling you what you need. Like whenever you're lost in the game, you call them and they tell you what to do. And so you're shooting at this guy and he's avoiding every single bullet and everything like that. Like he's avoiding everything. So you're like, you call them and they're like, what do you do? And you call them, like, you have to call them more than once even. And then like they're like, oh, he's reading your mind. You have to like switch the controller on the thing. There's a part earlier in the game where it gets really meta, where like to prevent piracy, they're like all, because that's your radio thing. It's a codec, so there's a frequency. So one of the frequencies, it's like 14151 that you have to call, but they're like all, the guy forgets it. He's like, it's on the back of the CD.
No shit.
So you have to look on the back of the CD case and it's there. Like, it gets all super meta. He's always been, like Hideo Kojima, the creator of these games, has always been that that person, like
So it's just like super fucking fourth wall break the whole
the
game.
whole time. And then in the second one, when he did break the fourth wall, like it's your commanding officer the whole time. You find out he's an AI, and you're the one who has corrupted his AI. So in the second one, he's going insane, telling all this stuff like that, like all this reality bending stuff. The second one gets very, very meta.
Because the only Metal Gear that I've played, so there was Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain.
Yes.
What was the like mini game that came out before it?
Peace Walker. That's the one that was on.
No, it was on console, but it was only like 5 hours long. It was like a little like appetizer to Metal Gear Solid 5.
It was Peace Walker, and then it was Ground Zeroes.
Yes. So I played.
You were in Guantanamo Bay.
Yes.
But like pre it becoming Guantanamo Bay.
Yes. So I played a bit of that
Because it's funny, like they're like, oh, this is anachronistic. Like Guantanamo Bay didn't exist, but I'm like, America has owned that land in Cuba since at least the 70s. You know what I mean? Like.
So because I played that, and then I played a bit of Phantom Pains, and I enjoyed it. I just remember like. I just didn't have enough time to really get into it, and there's a lot of story elements. Obviously, I had no idea what the fuck was going on.
It's like Dark Souls, where like it's like especially 5, where like they leave a lot of the stuff for you to investigate yourself. Like the original PS1 game explained everything to you into like a knowing detail. You know what I mean? Like what everything.
Yeah, click that. Fuck yeah.
Moves your controller.
Yeah.
He tells you to put your controller on the ground, and he starts vibrating it. Now I have to whiz.
Yeah, play that real quick. I want to see that.
It's through here, right?
Oh yeah, there we go. Left. So, Andrew went to go take a piss. For everyone on Spotify and streaming services, we are watching Metal Gear Solid 1. And the main villain is like vibrating the controller to move the controller for the player. That is so fucking strange. When did video games stop being innovative? When did everything, with few exception, when did everything just become so fucking cookie cutter? You know? Like... The best Star Wars game. Well, yeah, no, seriously, because like the best Star Wars game we were just talking about, arguably one of the best is Fallen Order, and what did they do? They ripped off Dark Souls. Yeah, they ripped off the formula. They ripped off the what's it called? They ripped off the formula of Dark Souls, and then COD is just a caricature of itself every year, and apparently there was reports actually now finally that. The developers of Call of Duty are trying to say, well, maybe we're going to stop doing a once-a-year release so we can actually have something good.
That's probably a good idea. Because the one-players are good. Like, the Call of Duty 4 is an amazing one-player. Like, the Duke goes off and you're in the helicopter, your character dies, and it's all dramatic. Yeah. It's like so
the first
good.
Modern Warfare?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, okay, so are you going to pick up Elden Ring?
Not right away, unless it comes out on PS4.
It is.
Oh, then I will, yeah.
Yeah.
Then I assume that, like, it's a Japanese game, so it's not, like, performance over gameplay, you know what I mean? It's gameplay over performance, so...
Yeah.
Like, so... But, sorry, back to Metal Gear.
Yeah.
Like, the second one has, like, I've heard it... I mean, you could even look it up. The most profound moment in video games ever. It's, like, It's seen in the second one where the AI is bugging out, and it's telling you basically like it's explaining like how everyone becomes atomized in their own little echo chambers and stuff nowadays, and how like the internet's just like instead of helping everybody like get together, it's just atomizing everybody forever. That is totally the conversation too, and like it's just like it's about how like it came out like probably 15 years ago, and it's like about everything that's happening right now. Like it's everything that like yeah.
Oh, you fucking slut.
Yeah, it just lays it down like that. We're just over. It's the overabundance of like misinformation and stuff like that. They like predicted all of those things before, like before the internet was really like in the era that it is now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or our grandparents just like fucking read the most fucking bullshit shit and believe it.
So, okay, so and Metal Gear Solid 2 came out on the first PlayStation?
It's a PlayStation 2 game. It was like kind of almost like a flagship. It wasn't flagship. It was really early in the PS2, and it's still like graphically is just like
Almost like a launch title.
yeah,
Okay.
but like it's just up there with just like the best games ever. Like it really is like that moment where like you just like it's about like an AI that like is the system basically. It's like like we're all born into this system. We really don't have any say into what like is going on and stuff like that. It's like this shit was made for us like.
With how huge of a following this series has, I'm surprised. And I mean, I'm sure it will, but I'm surprised it hasn't gotten the treatment that Resident Evil has, where they're straight up just remaking Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3 to make it modern.
See, but like okay, you had you had like there's like some really like big voices in Resident Evil, but Metal Gear has like a singular voice, like or not like. Hideo has been on every single one. Like Shinji Mikami has not been on every single Resident Evil.
Right.
And he's like Resident Evil 1, 2, 4. That is totally the conversation too. Like, but yeah, like.
I'm not.
No, it's way
I'm
too.
not gonna fucking read all this, but
No.
I'll have it there so people want to pause and read it, they can.
So I zoom in a little bit because again my eyes suck. No, you're good.
It's like the like.
So we are formless. We are the very discipline and morality that Americans invoke so often. And this is the AI speaking.
This is like the bad guy basically telling you like that, but they're the ones trying to keep control of the United States.
Okay.
They are like
how can anyone hope to eliminate us? As long as this nation exists, so will we. Don't you know that our plans have your interests, not ours, in mind? The mapping of the human genome was completed earlier this century. As a result, the evolutionary log of the human race lay open to us. We started with genetic engineering, and in the end, succeeded in digitizing life itself.
Adverse.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
But there are things not covered by genetic information. Human memories,
Memes.
ideas, culture, history, genes don't contain any record of human history.
So like every Metal Gear game has like a one-word theme. The first one is gene, and the second one is meme. So that's like with all like this is before meme was a household thing. Like a household
Really?
word. Yeah.
We've always kept records of our lives through words, pictures, symbols, tablets to books, but not all the information was inherited by later generations. A small percentage of the whole was selected and processed and passed on, not unlike genes really.
It's like the selfish gene. It's like Dawkins. Like Dawkins was talking about. It's like all this information that we actually like pass on ourselves. Like it's the things that we pass on that are not genetic. You know what I mean? Like the ideas and like good ideas, bad ideas. Like memes aren't just like funny pictures of cats and stuff doing the cat has cheeseburger. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, that's an old meme. Holy shit, that's the beginning of the internet culture. Oh my god. Oh wow, okay, so I'm gonna read this little last part.
Bro, just read the whole fucking thing.
You exercise your right to freedom, and this is the result. All rhetoric to avoid conflict and protect each other from hurt. The untested truths spun by differences to chum and accumulate in the sandbox of political correctness and value systems. Everyone withdraws into their own small gated community, afraid of a larger forum.
Yep.
They stay inside their little ponds, leaking whatever truth, quotations, suits them into the growling cesspool of society cesspool of society at large. The different cardinal truths neither clash nor mesh.
Yep.
No one is invalidated, but no one is right.
Yep.
Not even natural selection can take the place here. If you scroll down, the world is being engulfed in quote truth, and this is the way the world ends. Not with a bang, but a whimper. We're trying to stop that from happening. It's our responsibility as rulers, just as in genetics. Unnecessary information and memory must be filtered out to stimulate the evolution of the species. Who else can wade through the sea of garbage you people produce, retrieve valuable truths, and even interpret their meaning for later generations? That's what it means to create content.
Yeah,
Fuck me, man.
He said it's not about controlling content, it's about creating context. Yeah.
So here's what's okay. So I want to bring this to something that's a lot more current.
Time out. You missed this paragraph. But in the current digitized world, trivial information is accumulating every second.
Yep.
Preserved in all its triteness, never fading, always accessible. Rumors about petty issues, misinterpretations, slander, all this junk data perceived in an unfiltered state, growing at an alarming rate. It will only slow down social progress and reduce the rate of evolution. You seem to think our planet's a censorship. Oh my god.
No,
I'll continue
it. Hit way hard.
What we propose to do is not to control content, but to create context.
Yep.
The digital society furthers human flaws and selectively rewards development of convenient half-truths. Just look at the strange juxtapositions of morality around you. Billions spent on new weapons in order to humanely murder other humans. Rights of criminals are given more respect than the privacy of their victims. Fuck me! Although there are people suffering in poverty, huge donations are made to protect endangered species. Everyone grows up being told the same thing. Be nice to other people, but beat out the competition. You're special, believe in yourself, you'll succeed. But it's obvious from the start that only few can succeed. Fuck. Okay, so where do we even start? Okay, so I'm gonna like really just condense that into a couple sentences.
No.
But so one thing that's going on in the news right now, the whole Joe Rogan thing.
Yeah.
Right. What's so relatable with that to this, how everything is trivial, right? But these quote value systems are elevated for the wrong reasons, right? And the person who put this the best way was David Goggins. Do you know who that is?
No, I don't.
So he's a retired Navy SEAL. He's like a motivational speaker, author, and he's like this fitness fanatic. Do me a favor, go on YouTube real quick. Go on YouTube and look up David Goggins. What are you looking up right now? David Goggins.
It's there in the book.
Who's gonna carry the boats? Look, that is one of the most motivational fucking things I've ever seen in my life. So anyway, do you know what's going on with Joe Rogan right now?
Yeah, I know. Like they're driving up old stuff.
Yeah,
like they're like taking the N-word out of context that he said back in the day.
So what?
And then like there's like the Neil Young thing. Like
Yeah. So.
I love me some Neil Young, that's for sure. And he's always been an anti-system person. Like he tried to start his own streaming system. It's just more like fucking trying to get his own publicity shit. If I see anything.
It was on Instagram. He had that post, right?
Yeah, I think so. Watch.
I'll figure it out in a second. Just
okay. Yeah. So, what ends up happening is I'll just say what he says in the post. So, he brings up a point and he goes, "Look, everyone."
So speaking on I don't see that first. What is this? I can't.
Some guy talking about that's like the thing nowadays is like we're drowned in like people talking about things.
But so what he talks about is like, look, if nobody really cares that in old episodes, because it was like, well, all this started with him bringing on Dr. Robert Malone.
Okay, yes, and I've seen the scene, and I don't necessarily agree with the way he handled the whole thing, like because he was like, oh, I don't think that's right. Here's the right answer. I'm not gonna like. He's like he kept like.
Yeah. That episode, I watched the whole thing and I believe about half of it.
Okay.
Right. Granted, I'm not educated.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing with like Rogan. It's hard to break down Rogan into like a 2-minute clip. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You have to watch the full thing.
And that's. I mean, like I hate to be the person that says that because I'm like not the person that watches all. Because
like that 30-second one.
With Rogan, with me, like I love his comedian friends. I love Doug Stanhope, and I love like all those people. But like really, like I don't care about UFC stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like most of the time, like he like the political people, like I don't like. It's like Like, why do you have Ben Shapiro on your shit? He's like an annoying.
So it's really good.
Like,
And what's the beauty about his podcast is he's gotten so well, or he's became very skilled in sitting down with literally anybody.
No.
But then he's able to like pull this information out that is so pertinent, and he's gotten really good.
and you can easily get clips of him saying dumb shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just like a fucking long show. Like,
Oh yeah, for sure.
like
and he becomes like this vessel for the audience, right?
well, and I think that's part of it. They're trying to put their rage into it because we are rudderless like politically nowadays. There is no middle. There is no like right or left or like basically like football teams nowadays, and like there's no real
Well, I would disagree actually with quite literally everyone that I've spoken. Let's contain this to the podcast, right?
yeah.
Everyone that I've spoken to on here that were politics or
Politics. I like it. I like it.
where politics come up, everyone that I've spoken to find themselves in the middle of it. But the problem is that
Well, but I'm also also I would say I'm super left of all this stuff because I figure we could just like end a lot of this like violence, all this stuff if we wanted to, but we don't want to.
right.
We make money off this shit.
Exactly. So you go into our media companies and they want everyone to be right or left because that's how they make their money.
Exactly.
So then you enter someone like Joe Rogan who has become an almost like
He's a lightning rod.
new version of famous. for
No,
what he's doing.
He is a new version of famous because he has more power than like Fox News or fucking
And
CNN.
more viewers.
Yes,
which
exactly.
is interesting.
And that's like never happened before.
Right.
This is a very decentralized like thing that has like only new to right fucking now.
Right.
Like,
And so you go into the Robert Malone episode where this guy is saying where he has multiple patents on the mRNA vaccine technology. He's worked on that, and what really pissed off politicians and
well, is he the mRNA crack, the quack, or is he the guy that was telling him like the like when Rogan was doing the thing where he's like I heard they were getting like the swelled heart like that's the one
myocarditis.
Yeah, he was getting like that because that was a weird thing I was hearing from a bunch of like anti-vax kind of like groups before was like the vaccine will give you like a swelled heart or whatever
No, so the problem was that it was actually giving you that there were some cases where the vaccine was actually giving people inflammation that led to myocarditis.
Yeah, but then in the episode it's like the chance to get myocarditis is way worse if you get COVID.
Yes.
And then and Rogan's reaction is kind of like I don't believe that from right away, and that's what people like.
That's what you take from it.
You take that 2 second because there's definitely a moment where he's like I don't believe that. You know what I mean? It's like a weird set, and he's like Jamie fucking Google that, and he's like. Are you sure that's right? There's like even double
because the wording the part that
the
worried
wording
him,
of it, yeah.
the wording was bad, but the part that worried him, why he said he didn't agree with it, is because he had scientists and doctors on beforehand that brought their own data and said it's weird because you have to continuously watch his podcast.
Well, and that's the thing, like with the COVID stuff, like the mRNA or mRNA guy, like the big leads to autism guy, like. If you go back into it, he like is a grifter, and he was trying to sell like all of the vaccines separately. Like he was like the measles, was it rubella?
Measles, mumps, rubella, MMR.
Yeah, he was trying to sell them all separately. He was working with companies, so it was like a grift. It's hard to take the grifts from the like actual science nowadays, and there's just so many people who like are trying to sell you on their opinion or anything. It's like a weird world we live in.
And so and
that's with the overabundance of worthless information.
And so when he brought on Malone, though, what really pissed people off was he talked about mass psychosis.
Oh,
and the mass psychosis part of it.
That shit's real though.
Right, well, the part of it, and don't look up the video because I think that's what got us taken down. Is we looked into the video. I think that's what fucking got us taken down. But he basically brought up the idea that like, oh, this is a psyop and it's all the government's trying to control you and yada yada. So, but then what happens?
That's when you get like hard. Like,
so that's what starts it, right? And then people like Neil Young are saying vaccine misinformation, all this, take down Joe Rogan, and then from that it catapults. He goes, where's that noise? Oh, he closed the door. Thanks. So then it goes into, I'm not gonna take myself down, and I'm gonna actually do more podcasts. I'm gonna have more opposing views, like to each other, right?
Well,
to balance it out.
That was like I definitely saw his like I'm sorry, I'm gonna have more like different opinions.
Right.
Because I kind of do feel like since he got to Spotify, he's definitely leaned more into like the libertarian right side of things.
Kind of, yeah. I don't know, because he.
I mean, he's always been like he was like libertarians are cool because they smoke weed. He was always that guy, you know.
Yeah.
What I mean? Like,
but then now the problem is because you have another artist, I forget her name, but yeah, there was that compilation of him saying the N-word.
and then there's also have you also seen the one where he's like yelling at the lady about the monkey thing, it's like a like. He's on
I heard about
he's
that.
on someone else's podcast.
So
And
he
he's
was
called-
telling a story about him and his buddies were going to see a movie.
No,
somewhere.
that was on his podcast.
No, that's I think we're you can go ahead and continue, but I think we're talking about something else. Go ahead.
Yeah, him and his buddies were going to see a movie or something.
The Planet of the Apes thing. That's
Planet of
an
the
old
Apes.
episode from his podcast.
Yeah.
No, it was on something else. The one that I was talking about, where, like he was on there, and then a woman, like she was actually like a primatologist or something, like a monkey doctor, and she was telling him that like this thing was like a hoax. You know what I mean? And he was straight up calling her an idiot, and so it was like a really weird. I've never heard anything like that from him. You know what I mean?
Hey, see if you can find that.
Like straight up calling like somebody.
Oh, before you go to that, I'm sorry. Before you go to that, that's David Goggins. If you want to press play.
Oh yeah.
You don't know me, son? Get it. 18. You don't know me, son? Get it. You're 19. You don't know me, son? Yeah. 20, you got some more in you. 21. Yeah, get it again. Come on, we want to see it. Good. 22. Who's going to carry the boats?
Yeah.
Carry the boats.
Yeah. So he made a post on Instagram, and the gist of it is he says, "Look, nobody, like everyone knows what Joe Rogan's podcast is. It's free speech, and it's vulgar, and it's all these things.
He's a comedian talking with his comedian friends most of the time.
So nobody ever cared what he had to say, and nobody cared about him saying the N-word or him being offensive until he started questioning the mass media narrative.
Well, also, but
and then
also,
he became a problem.
it wasn't even questioning. It was that he like usurped them. It was like he straight up has the more power than them.
Yeah.
Like more people listen to him and get their fucking.
Exactly. So it's and even like in the episode that Rogan came out today, he's talking to another comedian, and he goes, "All of this is like a political. It's all a political attack. Like they're just using." And the other part of Goggins' post, most important, he goes, "What pisses me off is that these motherfuckers are using race and bigotry as a shield to try to take this guy down because they don't like the narrative he's trying to push, which is that of openness and open-mindedness."
And that's the weird thing. I mean, the right one is like lately have been like they're trying to take away our free speech. Everyone's trying to take away the free speech of like the people they don't believe in.
Exactly.
And then like there's no like actual middle ground anymore. You know what I mean? There's no actual like just like talking these.
That's not what makes them money.
No, and like the like any idea that's a little bit radical, like they'll just sit like the radical left thing, like turning like fucking BLM and fucking like Antifa into like terrorists and shit like that. That's only gonna bite everyone else on the ass later. You know what I mean? That's like just being able to say that American is terrorist because that's like some McCarthyism shit. That's some fucking Red Scare shit saying that like, oh, you believe different than me.
Yeah.
Like, just because I think that like maybe we shouldn't fucking like you know. I'm kind of anti-military. I've always been, you know what I mean? I've always, or not even anti-military because I love everybody I've ever met that's been in the military. It's more that like I don't like the idea of what we do with the military.
Oh, you're anti-imperialism.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
And like I've known since I was a kid that like we weren't like none of the shit we did was just. Even like when I was like Gulf War I, you know what I mean? I was like, what the fuck is this shit? You know what I mean? Like it's some shit that like I don't understand like that, and I've grown up in that like punk rock metal like scene where it's just like
anti-establishment,
yeah. and that's like that like you know like fucking anarchy in the UK, like fucking Sex Pistols, like fucking anarchy with no fucking objective thing, like doesn't actually get you anywhere. But like the idea that like maybe we should all just be better to each other and not like fucking kill anybody and like fucking like you know like all these like more like utopian anarchist things that like are more ideals, not necessarily right now.
Like
things.
realities.
Yeah, like because like the reality we live in is fucked. You know what I mean? Like it is fucked. Or like our political system has been fucked since like fucking at least like fucking like the housing crash, like the Obama shit, like. But even before that, I would say
like the last president, and again, like I'm not the most well versed individual on American history.
We haven't had a good president our whole life. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna say like we haven't
like we haven't had well in our lifetime certainly not, but like there hasn't
Our lifetime, no.
there hasn't been,
not one.
There hasn't been a president that truly cared about the country since Kennedy,
No.
and that's why they killed him.
Yeah.
Like that straight up. That's why the government killed Kennedy, was because he was the first president that was openly anti military industrial complex. He was openly anti secret society.
Yeah.
And he wanted to in his plan he wanted to defund and effectively get rid of the FBI.
Yeah.
That's what he wanted to do.
His personal life was so fucked up.
Or was it was it the CIA?
I don't remember.
It was one of those. It was one of those two that he wanted to get rid of. Now, yes, he was involved with a lot of spooky shit, but you kind of have to when you get to that level.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
like his personal like family life was so fucked.
Oh, the Kennedys are fucked. Like the fucking like,
like his sister was like some fucking Ellis
Chappaquiddick and shit like that. Fucking like like
lady that they kept locked up somewhere.
Look at what happened. Well, look what happened with our government after Kennedy, right? You go into stuff like with the Nixon era.
We had Nixon, and then we had fucking like Jimmy Carter, who was a fucking non-factor, and then you had fucking Nixon, and then you had fucking Bush, and then you had fucking blowjob in the White House, and then you had fucking Bush again.
Yeah, well,
Electric Boogaloo.
So you look at Kennedy, right? What's one of the first things they brought to his desk that he was like, no, we're not doing that? Northwoods, right? The one where they were gonna do the false flag on Cuba.
Yeah.
That was Northwoods, right?
Yeah.
So they're doing the false flag on Cuba. He's like, no, we're definitely not doing that. He pretty much signed his death warrant when that happened. So in the further presidencies, you have stuff like MK Ultra, Operation Midnight Climax. You have all these things where you're trying to destabilize your own population.
Oh no, like them experimenting on Vietnam soldiers, like the shit that fucking Jacob's Ladder is based on, like fucking that's my thing with conspiracy theories is that like. Just focus on the ones that they actually have fucking evidence for, and then like they even say we did that shit. You know what I mean? Like those are the ones that are scary, like Tuskegee and like.
The Tuskegee experiment.
Or the fact that like the conspiracy theory that the government labeled the word conspiracy theory to like demean it.
Yeah.
Make people sound crazy.
That reminds me of an X-Files episode, like where it was like you make this story like really really absurd to just discredit people who are trying to write about it because it sounds so weird and so like it's like the Rashomon episode. It has Alex Trebek and fucking Jesse Ventura and they're Men in Black, and it's about this. It's like this story about like people getting abducted, and then they get abducted. Like they're getting abducted by gray aliens, and then the lava men from the center of the earth save them. It's the sickest episode of the X-Files.
Oh shit!
It's amazing. Like I love the X-Files. But also that primed us for a whole lifetime of conspiracy theories. That's why your uncle believes in QAnon. Like.
Yeah, I don't know. It's scary when. So you take somebody, and this is the example that I think is the easiest example. You take somebody like Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Where 10 years ago he's talking out of his ass. People think he's insane.
But he was also fun.
Making the frogs gay.
But he was also fun. And then at some point he became like Rogan, where he became a little too much of like a political magnet, and he was getting funded by all these people.
But he's right with a lot of the shit that he's bringing up.
But to bring up that episode again, he's right, but he's also sounds like an idiot.
He's right in the wrong way.
His delivery is horrible.
He sounds like an idiot. So he like anything that he's right about, even the gay frogs thing. Like even the gay frogs thing, like the chemical was actually causing frogs to like if you reductio ad absurdum thing, like reduce it to the most absurd shit.
Yeah, it's the frogs are turning gay.
Yeah. But also like he's a grifter and he's selling fucking brain pills. He's like, immigrants are crossing the border and they're bringing disease. So you gotta take this fucking Immune Plus thing, you know what I mean? Like it's a double-edged sword. You have to fucking be able to like. Nowadays, you really don't know who the fuck like.
To believe.
No, there's no middle ground.
Which is like the scariest part of them trying to deplatform someone like Rogan, because I think his is one of the only. Now, granted, he has a huge influence that is inspiring a lot of.
And he's an idiot. He says dumb things sometimes, but also like.
But his platform is one of.
And it's his platform, and he created it on his own. And like if you listen to it, then you like. You know what I mean? You know what you're getting into. You should.
Yeah.
But that's like a
you know what you know
that's
what
a
you're getting
media,
from the guest is at least legitimate.
It's a media awareness thing. You should know what you're like watching or listening to at all times. You should always like. There's context in all of that shit.
So what is this that you found?
Oh, him yelling at the lady like.
Challenge you, Allison. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm a primatologist. There's no such thing as a under 8.
You're a fucking idiot. Go online and look it up. You're a what? What do you do? It's a new discovery. You're a primatologist? Well, look it up. You're not current. Pay attention. Go online and look it up.
Yeah, this is serious.
Yeah, you learned some shit from college. When did you graduate?
I have a PhD.
When did you graduate? When?
It's from 2000.
Yeah, when was the last time you got online and researched primates? Have you ever looked at any of the new discoveries? Have you looked at any Paul Armand's work?
Yeah, I've been at...
What are you laughing at? Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? I'll tell you why you're laughing, because you don't have a point. So you're trying to, oh, you're ridiculous. Max, I have a PhD. Meanwhile, there's all sorts of photographs of this primate. This gigantic chimpanzee. Not only that, it's on National Geographic, stupid. NationalGeographic.com. CNN.com, stupid. No. There was
it's like so not him. It's so weird.
There's all sorts of different things.
Well,
now they've mapped the DNA of this animal already.
Oh, please.
We mean, oh, please, stupid. You haven't paid attention to it at all.
That's how you had your guess.
Scientists and primatologists that are in the Congo studying this thing, and you don't know. Yet you're calling up. You've done zero.
Can you find what year this episode came out? Because that's very early, Joe Bro.
Oh no, it has to be.
It's very early.
It has to be, but it's also like it's part of the drumming up all the old shit.
It was
But
posted in 2018.
It's way earlier than that.
But like the podcast thing is like a.
So
you can take anything you say out of context. I'm sure you've said like.
So it's funny you bring that up. I had a conversation exactly that when all this kicked off like 2 days ago, and I was telling my buddy who was kind of like saying, "Yeah, Joe Rogan should really be deplatformed," and I was like, "Look, man, like I am confident. Let's take podcasting, right? I'm confident that you can go to quite literally every podcast in existence, to include mine,
Everyone.
and make a horrible compilation and make this person look like an asshole.
Oh, at this
It's
point,
not hard."
At this point, like with This Is 40, like I'm sure like you've said enough words that we could just make you say anything at this point.
Oh yeah, no, there's easily over. Oh god, there's easily over a few hundred hours of this podcast now. So like, you could go and find snippets that make me sound like an asshole, but then if you kick those 30-second, even like 5-second snippets out to full hours, and you get context. That's what matters. But nobody wants context exactly like that Metal Gear Solid.
No, it's
context doesn't matter.
No, yeah, it's yeah.
Oh my god, that's a really good fucking monologue that we read. That's a really good fucking monologue.
No, and it's funny that you're like, no, I need to stop, and you like fucking found the part that I was like, yep, that's the one. Like,
I don't know. It said like it was debunked in the early 2000s. So maybe it's somewhere in the early 2000s. But probably other stuff coming out now. I don't think I'm gonna find it right here anytime soon.
No, it's just weird with what they're doing, and just again using race as this veil of like, hey, we don't like what this guy's doing, but we're gonna call him a racist. Like calling somebody a racist has no meaning anymore.
well, that's a weird thing that like. So I grew up here in New Mexico, and I grew up in the South Valley, which is like the hard side of town, like the ghetto side, and I got discriminated against for being a white person. I will say that. Like, I got, like, called wedo, fucking, I got beat up, all this stuff, until I, like, joined wrestling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I really did. But also, like, in my life, I've also had white person privilege where I got off because I was a white person, you know what I mean? Yeah. They pulled me over, the car smelled like fucking weed or whatever, and it's just like, I'm gonna give you a warning. But if, like, it just, the situation was different, you know what I mean? If I was a brown person or a black person, it probably wouldn't have ended the same way, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But I mean, like, yeah. So it's weird. There is definitely like growing up here in Albuquerque, I remember just being like picked on because like I was a fucking ginger, you know what I mean? I was a fucking Viking here, like.
I'm not gonna find it, but this is like a prime example of like, this came out in February 7th of 2022. She called him out, and it's bringing old shit up.
Yeah.
Just finding old shit to fucking.
No, I mean, if you want to, I mean, like it's funny because like I played in metal bands. I was in a band where we were trying to write really offensive music. You know what I mean? Like you could drum up all that music and it's really offensive. I'm like, well, it's kind of supposed to be offensive. You know what I mean? Like you can cancel me for any of it, whatever. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, but it's the I don't know. The cancel culture thing is weird. It's like they're talking about the Punisher thing. It's like they've changed him so many times for like they turned him into a Frankenstein, they turned him into an angel, they turned him into a fucking like a Hydra agent, they turned him into Captain America. They like and none of that shit works. It's just like just write a good story with this character. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, the what's it called? The Punisher skull thing being adopted by, like I can almost give a pass for the military just because Frank Castle has that military background and because like. You know, when you look at something like Chris Kyle or that SEAL team, their specific job is to go out and kill bad guys. I can give that a pass.
It's like to me, it's like it's a weird like I mean like the skull is like a reminder of death and all that stuff. Like I get it, but like just I mean, and also Punisher can't just take the skull iconography. Like he can't be the only one that just is the skull. You know what I mean? That's also a weird thing. But like the military and police thing for me is weird. Like
the police one is what worries me more.
Yeah, because
you don't want a cop with the Punisher's philosophy.
No, because the Punisher is a fucking
he's insane.
Just like Batman, he's like a mental patient. Like that, he's a cautionary tale. He's not a person that you're trying to be like. You're not.
No, yeah.
You don't want to be Batman. Like you don't like Batman's obsessed. Like he keeps a child in a cave. He just like no like okay. The I've told you this before. I hate Batman. Like I just have this weird like the Bat family to me like it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and like the bigger it gets it doesn't make sense. I love Dick Grayson. He's fucking awesome. Nightwing rules.
Yeah.
You can have a bunch of other Robins, I guess, but like it just dilutes it more.
Yeah, I mean, when they started getting into stuff like Batwing.
Yeah.
And then because I
hate the Red Hood. I'm sorry. I hate the Red Hood as a good guy. He should be a bad guy.
He should be a bad guy. He should be like DC's Punisher.
He should be the. Thank you.
He should be the DC's Punisher, and I liked Batwoman being her own thing.
Yes.
Like, sure, should she cross over with Batman? Sure, but like, it shouldn't be such a constant thing, where it's like she's involved in that universe. Like, no, the whole point of Batwoman is that she was going to take what Batman's doing and do it on her own.
Yeah,
and that was the whole point.
Yeah, and also like when you're you and Batman are homies, or you and Commissioner Gordon are homies, and you're like work friends, and you're like, is it cool if I date your daughter? Like, no, it's not a good idea.
No, yeah, like, did you ever watch the animated Killing Joke?
Oh, it's not good.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that opening scene where like it's 30 minutes of Batgirl trying to track down goons, and then her and Batman have sex on a roof.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah,
it's part of that like it's those dudes specifically, the Batman animated series guys, because part of like the whole like end of the series had to do with that too, because like Batman Beyond had to do with that shit too, like because Barbara Gordon was Commissioner Gordon at that point,
right?
And then like she was always talking about her relationship with Batman. It's like, quit trying to fucking make that shit work. Like it's not that's not a cool like.
I remember that. I forgot about that. It's been years since I've seen the entirety of Batman Beyond. It's been years, but I remember that.
That's the only one with the what's his face, Terry or whatever.
Terry McGinnis.
Yeah.
I didn't like that he was a clone at the end. That was a weird cop out. I thought that he was a clone of Bruce Wayne.
I never finished it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Spoiler: like Amanda Waller like made a clone of Batman, and
so did they do that at the end of the series, or was that in the Return of the Joker?
You know what? It's at the end of Batman Unlimited, or no, Justice League Unlimited.
That sounds like that doesn't sound like it was the end of Batman Beyond.
No, it was in Justice League Unlimited.
It was a tie-in.
And that show rules too. Do you like that show?
Yeah, there's no limit. I like the original Justice League more personally, just because it was more contained.
But I love the that you're gonna get Green Arrow's one of the main characters, and you're gonna have all these weird DC heroes.
Yes, I agree, and I think they handled Solomon Grundy really well.
Yes,
and then there's an episode,
and they do all the Charlton Comics characters. They do fucking The Question. They do Captain Atom. I don't think Guardian or I don't think Peacemaker's in it. But
and they did Peacemaker. But I remember one episode where it was Aquaman, I think Martian Manhunter, Wonder Woman, and Dr. Fate. They had to deal with these Lovecraftian old gods.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Yeah.
That one was really good. It was a two-parter. That one was really good. But because I remember Return of the Joker was.
Is that the Batman Beyond movie?
Yeah, where Dick Grayson's the Joker.
That's one of my favorites. He has the chip that just turns him into the Joker.
Yes. Yep, that's what it is. You're correct.
And it's so good. It's so good.
Have you seen that?
Hey, buddy.
Huh.
Did you click record on this mic thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
No way.
No fucking way.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so we just did a whole podcast. No way. I pressed record.
I saw you press it.
No way.
I was nonchalantly looked down. I was like, we're not down here for 10 hours.
No, you saw me press record.
You pressed record because we were messing with it. Did it stop when we unplugged things?
No, because it doesn't stop like that. Why does it sound any different now? No way. No way. Hang on. Okay. Hang on. Let me see this fucking thing.
Time out. No fucking way.
There's no fucking way. Ah, shit. There's no way.
There was some good shit there too. Damn. It's for the ether, I guess. I hear something. You got something, right? That's holy shit.
Do these cameras pick up the?
Yeah, they do. And I can extract audio and I can make it sound good.
You're gonna have to.
Holy fuck!
Hey, we didn't lose it though. We have it. It's just not gonna sound great now.
Yeah, we have the content. It's just
we just went through a lot of it that we're I'm just wow.
That is honestly that's kind of funny. Well, fucking keep it rolling, dude. It's gonna sound weird for 2 hours.
So, holy shit! So we just did basically what's a whole episode. We got to wrap this up in at least at most in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So
we did a lot of.
We did a lot of stuff, and I'm gonna do my damnedest to make that audio as good as it can be. But something happened. Is this rolling? Is this recording?
Yeah, it's recording now.
Something happened where the audio didn't. I pressed record though.
I'm telling you, I think when we unplugged the mics, it stopped recording.
That makes sense.
When we redid them, because you can hear it talking about I can hear it in 2.
Right.
I can hear it in 2 now, and then it just stops.
Oh my god.
That was like at least 2 hours.
Oh, it was easily 2 hours.
Yeah.
I can tell you how much time it was. 2 hours and 17 minutes.
Yeah, that sounds about right, yeah.
Oh boy, yeah, it's just not gonna be the highest quality, like fucking $400, $500 microphone quality, but I'll make it work.
Yeah,
Fuck
well.
me.
Well, I'm gonna add that to my checklist of things to double check.
You know what's fucked up? You know what's really fucked up? You're gonna find this hilarious too. Look at that stack of paper, that calendar. Just start flipping through the pages.
Oh, this is mine?
No, it's for both of us. So start looking through the pages. I made a checklist of everything we need to do post or pre and post show.
Well, see that I mean, like I've done recording before, like with the especially with the band stuff. Like I kind of thought we had like the thing going.
So did I.
We did all the checking and stuff. I'm just like, yeah, I thought we were good. Like,
Yeah, me too. This is the 40th episode. I thought I had this down. Fuck me. Oh man, that really fucking blows.
Well, I mean, I felt like I did good.
No, it was fantastic.
You did good because we have it.
We have it. It's just a little rough. I'll make it work, and I'll hit up Jay, and we'll make it work. But anyway, Jesus Christ, that sucks.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, so like, where were we? Yeah.
Batman Beyond.
Oh yeah, yeah. So because I remember in the Return of the Joker movie, Batman, Joker is Dick Grayson, and he has that little piece in the back of his head.
It's like a mystery. Joker's coming back, and they don't know why he's back.
Exactly, and then they had I think you're right, in Justice League Unlimited, where look up where Terry McGinnis is a clone on YouTube.
It's totally the last episode of, or it's like one
of the last.
Yeah, and it's a weird thing to canon, and I kind of don't agree with it, but also it's something that a Waller would do. I love Waller as a character, like. She would just do everything she could. Like, that's why she created, fucking, like, Superboy and all that shit.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, old lady Waller telling him, like...
Bruce didn't overwrite your DNA with his. I did. How? Why? Because the world needs a Batman.
Yeah, I remember this.
I think her casting is amazing.
Yeah, Viola Davis and that's the other thing too with Suicide Squad is they had some solid casting in that first one.
I kind of wish. I mean, I love Idris Elba, but I wish it was fucking Will Smith.
Yeah, Will Smith's Deadshot is something genius.
Well, Deadshot is kind of like it was the Suicide Squad who turned him into like the cool like half-faced like character that he was.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad, that comic, the John Ostrander one, like they put Oracle into the the wheelchair. They invented Amanda Waller. Like they put him in that the sick suit. There's so much like awesome DC shit that came from that book.
And it's funny. Have you ever it's funny looking at stuff like this because. Where they're taking things and changing, but it still kind of works. And again, with Dick Grayson being the Joker. But have you read the sequel to Dark Knight Returns?
Yes.
Dark Knight Strikes Again.
Yes,
that piece of garbage.
It's like, oh yeah, it's so much it's drawn really badly. It was when Frank Miller discovered digital art.
Well, I heard that Frank Miller did it intentionally bad because he didn't want to do a sequel.
That's funny too.
But they do
But that's why the outlines are all weird. It's like. It's very much outlines and then computer drawn. It looks really bad. It's very much computer art. It's like pure early digital art.
Right. No, that actually makes a lot of sense now that I think about it. But I remember that book has Dick Grayson as the Joker.
Yeah.
And they do it horribly.
Oh, it's bad. It's bad.
They do it fucking horribly. So, yeah,
I like the Grant Morrison idea where Dick Grayson becomes Batman, and then Damian's fucking Robin, and you have like a really like lighthearted Batman and like a Killer Robin.
Mhm.
It's a sick fucking
Well,
duo.
and what I love about it too, I forget if it's like the GCPD or if it's like a Two-Face or a Penguin or whatever. But they get, remember there's a part where they get this like security camera footage, and they're watching Batman fly around and take out enemies, and they're like, that's not Batman. And like, why not? Because they freeze frame it, and it's Dick Grayson smiling in the suit, and they're like, Batman doesn't smile. I don't know who that is, but that's not Batman. Yeah.
The Great Ghost strikes again.
Another Batman origin story.
Your parents have just taken you to a rousing adventure film.
I love The Great Ghost. That's like a Batman the Animated Series invention too. And it was Adam West.
Yeah.
If I see pearls fly, I'm walking out.
I forgot this. Because isn't the Phantasm a girl?
Yeah, Beaumont or Amanda or Adriana Beaumont, I think is her name. That movie rules.
Mask of the Phantasm? Oh, yeah.
Yes. Like the Tom King brought her into the
Yes, with Batman and Catwoman.
Yeah.
I still need to read that. I've only read through issue 2.
Okay.
But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Clayton Mann's art is fucking better than fuck.
He's a fantastic artist. I love him drawing Catwoman. Absolutely fucking fantastic.
And Batman needs a Catwoman because he's like a stick in the mud. He needs like someone who's like fucking.
Well, what's funny is like I guess Snyder had an idea of who he wanted his older Catwoman to be.
Okay.
And it was going to be played by the woman who did Silk Spectre 1.
Oh, I was gonna say it had to have been her.
Yeah.
Like because Snyder has people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he just keeps pulling back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that would have been interesting to see Affleck with an older Catwoman.
Okay, I like the idea that they like Batman was tortured. He lost a Robin. Like, I think it's just like the I love the story. I wish they would have like kind of. It's just the execution of it. They could have.
Well, the executives had to believe in it more, I think, because what I liked
It
about
was
them-
slow burn. It was a little slow, like a little more slow burn than it should have been.
Well, what I liked about Batman being older and having 20 years of history is that whenever they were going to do the solo movie, you had a ton to pick from. Rather than having to carve your story, you could just say, "Hey, this is what happened in his past."
You could just start the movie and he's just fighting Firefly. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
he's just fighting
Well,
fucking Killer Moth.
The
Or,
funny thing is, Firefly is going to be played by Brendan Fraser in,
I love that
Batgirl.
because Doom Patrol, the show, like he's had a sick fucking revival and it rules. Robot Man, one of my favorite comic book characters, and he plays it perfectly because he is Robot Man. He's a washed up, like, used to have it all, like, fucking dude. Like,
it's sad what happened to him.
And he's all fat now. Like, it's part of that. Like, it's all, yeah.
Yeah, I just need to read Doom Patrol. I've only seen a couple episodes of the show, but I liked what I saw.
It's good, and it has the right tone and everything. The book, I mean, for me, Medium really does have to comic books like. It's hard to take like someone's awesome art that they drew it and it's so awesome to turn it into like movie costumes and stuff like that. It's so hard to do that.
It depends on what character it is, obviously, but it's possible with almost every character. I truly believe.
But
that.
you have to throw. I mean, like in my mind, you kind of have to throw $100 million at it to like make it. Like even some of these ones that don't even deserve that much money, like those comic books that are just like fucking like.
Well, I mean, The Watchmen, all of that translated great.
Okay,
I thought.
Okay, my biggest problem, like I love Snyder's version of Watchmen.
I feel like I know where you're going with this, and I agree with you.
That he made them look too cool.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Everyone was too cool.
Everyone was too cool.
All the suits were very slick,
and it's like they had superpowers.
In the book, everyone's schlubby. Everyone is like
fat and old.
And Rorschach is not cool. Like, I fuck anyone who thinks Rorschach...
Yeah, Rorschach is a horrible person.
But Rorschach is who Batman would be if he lived in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't a billionaire. But, like...
And also, like, a low-key white supremacist.
Yeah.
But,
okay, getting into that, Alan Moore said that a lot of, like, the vigilante stuff, the costume superhero stuff dates back to Birth of a Nation, like the KKK movie. So that's why America's obsessed with vigilantes and hoods and capes and shit.
Can you find that? Hey, are we rolling?
Yeah, dude, we're 10 minutes in.
Okay, just making sure.
No, like, Alan Moore straight up like compared like American comics books to Birth of a Nation, like I think it's WEDB, or yeah.
Well, just look at Birth of a Nation.
Birth of a Nation. It's like the white
Alan Moore.
Yeah, it's the KKK movie. It's like a white lady.
Well, right, I know what it is.
Yeah,
but that's
like,
interesting that he said that.
He said that's where, and then like Hooded Justice, like that's like the character from Watchmen, like that's straight up like vigilantes hanging people. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
like it's that era. Like.
Did you ever watch the Watchmen TV series?
I loved it.
It was fantastic.
And it was one of those things that I didn't wish it ever existed, but it was fucking awesome.
I'm glad it did.
Exactly.
What I love the most about it is it requires you to read the book.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's like, why are these people having PTSD from tentacles?
But it also is like, it's like the Force Awakens for Watchmen. It's the same thing over again.
Yeah.
But also, it ruled. I love I love the angles it took. I love the fact that it taught everybody about the Tulsa Massacre. I love that like it fucking. I love that like they made him a black guy. Yeah.
The reveal of Dr. Manhattan was weird.
Oh, that was weird.
How they like made him have amnesia or some shit, so he didn't remember he was Dr. Manhattan.
I don't like who was involved with it. It was the lost guy. It was I think he's a one-trick pony. I don't really like him, but I felt like he did so good in that. Who's the creator of that show, of the new Watchmen? He was the lost guy.
I forget his name.
Yeah, and it was just like I just felt like he was like, yeah.
No, but the show was fantastic, and yeah.
Oh, there it is, right there. It's like. Yeah, the first American superhero movie. He regards Birth of a Nation as the first American superhero movie.
Can you zoom in a little bit, Joey?
Where'd you see that?
It's the one right above the red line. It's that one right there.
Oh god.
Yeah, no, and I believe him because like Alan Moore's fucking like he's a wizard. He invented Antifa. No, not really.
It's like what the fuck.
No, like the V for Vendetta mask, you know what I mean? He wrote that book, the Guy Fawkes thing, and then that shit's just in the world now.
Can you scroll down so I can see it? Okay, so this is in fact the Watchmen writer goes a step further to discuss the superheroes by claiming that even with the growing diversity in the genre, the whole idea of people dressing up in masks and capes to stand up what's right is part of the white supremacist dream of the master race.
Yeah,
I would. Oh, so this is Alan Moore's quote.
Yeah, it's the quote. Yeah.
I would also remark that, save for a smattering of non-white characters and non-white creators, these books and these iconic characters are still very much white supremacist dreams of the master race. Moore said. In fact, I think that a good argument can be made for D.W. Griffith's Birth of a Nation as the first American superhero movie. And the point of origin for all those capes and masks.
Yeah, vigilantes and fucking capes and cowls and like doing whatever you like. It's about fucking lynching a black guy. And Alan Moore, he's British. He doesn't totally understand America, but like as a cultural like thing, like yeah, that movie like glorified the Klan, and it was one of the first movies. It was basically like if Spider-Man like was a Klan member, like. People would be like, "Oh, the Klan's cool." You know what I mean?
I see the connection he's making, but like that's a bit far. If you were like, let's say that superheroes that superheroes in America were mostly like that had traits of supremacy, right? Let's say they had the traits of that. Like, let's say they were all the comedians.
Oh no,
I'd agree.
Oh, and it's funny. We go back to the fucking the Peacemaker thing.
He was originally supposed to be in Watchmen, right?
He was supposed to. The Watchmen was supposed to be about the Charlton characters. So like you had the Question was supposed to be Rorschach, and Peacemaker was supposed to be fucking like
a comedian.
Yeah, and like this, and I do believe that. Like, have you seen this movie?
No.
It's very epic as black and white movies go. It's very much like, if you saw this, you would definitely think the KKK were like the good guys if you saw it back in the day. Like, it's that kind of movie, and we live in this world where this movie like fucking like
Yeah, but
is the first American epic. This is the first American Avatar.
3 hours.
but like I could again like I can't equate
A white guy or a black guy rapes a white woman, and then they send a bunch of vigilantes after him. It's that movie, like.
Okay, yes, but also Batman would take down a rapist.
Oh no, you're not wrong. And Punisher kills fucking white supremacists all the time. You're not wrong. Like,
I find it hard when you.
But it's the like the idea of capes and vigilantes and people going out and doing whatever the fuck they want to because of.
Oh, that's almost saying that okay,
like
just because the Nazis had uniforms and rifles, they're the same thing as the American army. That's the same thing.
No, but like vigilantism, like the one man taking up like a gun or like a violence for himself.
Okay, so you're talking about like the similarity in ideas. Okay, the Third Reich were under the control of a madman that thought that there was one supreme race, whereas the Allied forces, let's just say, the Allied forces were under control of people who believe that everyone should be free. They're different ideas.
But Robert Ford or like Ford and stuff, like Americans, like Germans learned all that like eugenics stuff from Americans. Like all the like the weird eugenics like science like stuff started in America before it like went to fucking Europe. You know what I mean? Like
right, but I just find that I see why he's equating it, but it's just that's a stretch.
No, it's not. It's I mean you're not wrong that it's a stretch. Like, but like think of like the biggest movie you've ever seen, like and it has to be like Spider-Man or one of those. And imagine if it had subtle like fucking like white supremacist views. You know what I mean? Would you just like kind of just take them as like the way they are? You know what I mean?
Then you're changing the scenario because that's why I said earlier is like if our superheroes, or even like when they first became popular in like the 40s and the 50s, right? If they had white supremacist undertones, like if Superman like low-key hated black people, then yeah, maybe I could see like why there's a translation to that.
Well, I mean, like part of it though is like our best superheroes are created by the Jewish people. Like we have fucking Stanley Lieber and fucking Jack Kirby creating fucking all the Marvel people, and you have fucking the Superman people. What's his name? Schuster and fucking Siegel. They're like that shit, like the L shit, like the like in the last his name like Kal-El, like Mike L, and fucking it's all like very like old school Testament stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
well, media having biblical like DNA isn't something that's necessarily new.
When did Birth of a Nation air?
It said 1912, I think, in that.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to take it back even further, this is like the American origin of like vigilantism.
Okay.
So basically, it was this gang, the San Francisco Committee of Vigilance, and so there's a small town. It just fucking exploded in population, went from 900,000 to 20,000 super quick, and law enforcement couldn't keep up. So these guys fucking, and like gangs started like becoming super rampant.
It's like some Old West shit.
Yeah, so these guys formed a fucking vigilante gang basically, and the militia basically hanged 8 people and forced several elected officials to resign. Each committee of vigilance formally relinquished power after 3 months.
No, that sounds amazing, and that doesn't sound race based like a lot of like the lynching and all that other stuff. Like Hooded Justice in fucking Watchmen has a fucking noose around his neck. Like,
yes, but you also need to remember that Watchmen is a parody of superheroes.
Oh, no,
it's not supposed to be a representation. It's taking a superhero story and flipping it on its head.
But no, it's like
it's the first major like what if thing.
Well, no, you know what? But even before that, like there was a Squadron Supreme. It was a year.
Yeah.
It was a year before that, and it was like, what if we used the Flash to take away everybody's guns, and we used like all our like super inventors to invent things that people can't get like, and like it's basically like where Superman decides that I'm going to take over the world. It's basically like a different version of
Injustice.
Injustice, yeah. And Batman, like Nighthawk, is like fuck that shit.
Yeah.
And it came out a year before Watchmen, and it fucking rules. It fucking rules. But it's also like, you know, like the weird Squadron Supreme Marvel's version of the Justice League.
Right. No, yeah, and I don't know if there was more evidence.
No, I mean it's just something Alan Moore said, but Alan Moore
Yeah.
also like
He's a crackpot.
no, I love Alan Moore. He also talks about how like comics, like especially like in the pulps eras before comics and stuff like that, it's all like money laundering for the mob. It all was.
I've heard that the old school like what was
newsstand shit like
the evolution of like the Dimeback books was all a front for the mob.
Yes,
It was all funded by the mob.
Lucky Luciano and all that. Like yeah, no, I've
Yeah.
heard a lot of that too. That's like some Alan Moore shit that I've heard too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with Alan, I can see where Alan Moore's coming from.
Yeah.
And I would like, it's not far fetched to believe that like back in the day when like fucking
Vigilantes
White
like
Power was the shit, that this movie came out and people were like, oh fuck yeah.
Okay, so then
Masks and capes.
Okay, so then let's assume it is, right?
Yeah.
Let's just go into the assumption that argument's correct. So then when you look at the two biggest superheroes on the planet, which
Superman and Batman.
are Batman and Superman.
and then
And
Spider-Man. Those are the three.
Yeah. So you include Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. So the top three superheroes, period, are all created by Jewish people or have heavy Jewish creative influences.
No,
Okay,
like straight up. Yeah.
so if we look at that and it's like, okay, then the very basis of American superheroes is the antithesis of what this is, right?
But also like
because they're created.
when we get to that era, this is also years after that. This is I'm talking about pulps even before that, like fucking Doc Strange and fucking
Right.
like all that stuff, that like the Shadow and fucking Zorro before that. That was like very much just like a white savior kind of story, like
right, but for Jewish people then to create these stories, it would be the exact opposite.
Oh, and there's
of
so
what's,
much
of what's going on.
There's so much DNA. Like fucking The Thing didn't come out as Jewish until the 90s, but like Jack Kirby was writing like fucking like he was giving out Christmas or Hanukkah cards like in the 60s with him in his full like regalia.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Yeah,
what
I
mean?
remember seeing pictures of that.
Yeah. But also in in California, like
No, so there's actual. I know where you're going with this. There's actual like there's American there's like Americanized like reprints of Zorro where Zorro's white. They completely whitewashed Zorro. Yeah, it's old stories of Zorro. They don't do that anymore, obviously, but like in the old school Zorro, he got whitewashed quite a bit, even with his Spanish origins. Yeah,
well, we grew up here though. Like I don't know if you like it was the weird division between Spaniards and Mexicans. They hate each other growing up here. No, and it was a real like it was such a weird thing growing up for me. Like,
An hour and a half drive up to Espanol.
oh, that's like they call bread. They call bread panocha, don't they? Like
bread?
Yeah. No, they yeah, like don't they call bread something weird? I don't know. Like Mexican or northern New Mexican Spanish is weird.
Oh, I don't know.
I haven't heard bread called panocha. That's something else.
That's maybe I'm making that up, but like yeah.
No, there's different slangs like and stuff. And like if you talk to my rest in peace grandfather, my grandparents like when they were kind of like when I was young, dude, like and still now currently, my whole family's like straight Spanish. None of us are white. We look a little white, but we're all purebred Spaniards. Probably that's if you talk to them, but we're not Mexicans.
Oh, yeah, and
we don't like Mexicans. Apparently.
and that's how it was growing up. And then like everybody hated the blacks and the whites down in the valley too. Like it was like just like that. Like Mexicans did not like black people. Like it was that was how it was growing up. Like,
yeah. Well, no. So to again kind of like bring this back, like with Jewish people creating these heroes. Obviously this is me talking out of my ass, but maybe they did see something like Birth of a Nation and see the influence of where that could go and made these heroes so good that they could never be equated to that. You can't equate fucking Superman to a white supremacist.
No, but like in my mind, there's also like a group of people who grew up in the South, like idolizing all these white generals, like from the Confederacy. There was like such a time in American history where like after the Civil War that like he was like, you shot your own brother, like you're an asshole.
Yeah.
And then now they're like looked at as like good old boys, like this weird like like it's like it was after the 60s when they put up all those Confederate statues and stuff like that, where there's this weird, like, it was in a weird, like, racial time where they were trying to make some weird, like, statements.
most of those statues were put up in protest to the
movement, the 60s movement,
the civil rights movement.
Yeah, no, and it is really weird in that way. They doubled down on this weird, like, my grandpa was my grandpa was a Confederate, but it, like, if you would have asked your dad, your grandpa was fucking sad as fuck because he killed his brother, like, because of that stupid shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's like some weird, like, and then, like, what do you think about anyone talking about Civil War nowadays? Because that shit's dumber than shit. Like,
well, the argument that I hate around the Civil War is that the Civil War was fought for states' rights.
oh, that's a bull.
I hate that argument.
I mean,
it's like okay, yes, technically,
slavery is.
States' rights to do what?
Yeah, exactly.
Slavery is in their constitution. It's like straight up like written in their constitution. Like so it's like it's not like you can defend that in any like states' rights way, in any weird libertarian way. You know what I mean? Because I like don't get me wrong, like libertarians have awesome ideas about like the drug war and how Americans have never like every time we've intervened about the drug war, we've made it worse. You know what I mean? Like there's good stuff there, but like in general, like I think most American libertarians like are not libertarians. You know what I mean? Like they believe like that you can do whatever you want as long as you like believe what I believe.
No, exactly. They're like
Christian fundamentalist, like
they're like libertarians removed from a certain group.
Yes.
It's like they go to the middle, but they carry along their values.
Yes.
Because true libertarianism is kind of scary.
No, and that's also scary. Like no age of consent, no fucking speed limit. Like I don't want to live in that world.
Yeah, you need a world with rules. But yeah, it's fucking crazy.
No, and I met that dude who was like I don't want age of consent. I don't want the government in like I like lived in Vermont and I got like was trying to get a job for him and he was just like he told me he's like I like foreigners and fucking dumb country boys to work for me. You know what I mean? He wanted like people to like fucking just not be educated in like the fucking laws to work for him. You know what I mean?
Jesus.
And then he wanted you to work like he's like I'm gonna pay you this much so you can get food stamps, but like you know like. Also, I'll pay you a little bit more in cash. It was like this weird, like fucking under the table deals that he was trying to do, and it was just like, oh wow. And then like, if I fuck up, this guy's gonna sue the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow. Well,
he was like an ex-cop guy. He was like a really short guy. He had the Napoleon complex. He was like fucking like he got arrested at one point like for like trying to be a bounty hunter. But he like basically like fucking put a gun in somebody's face and told them to get in the back of a car, like kind of shit. Like you know what I mean? Like I mean, being a bounty hunter is like a kind of morally gray job anyway. Like
that sounds like a weird motherfucker to work for.
No, it was within 2 days that I decided that it was not gonna happen. But like,
which was probably a good idea. But we gotta wrap this up. We're almost 10 o'clock at fucking night. I've got bedtime.
Oh wow,
and
we've been going.
We've been going at it.
We're only 30 minutes in.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, I'll be pretty dozing about recovering that audio. But either way, man, I'm really glad you came by. I'm really glad we fucking did this.
No, this was really fun.
Yeah, and we'll do it again soon. Thank you again for doing this with me. 40 episodes.
Yeah, fucking it. You guys are fucking doing it, and I mean, you guys are probably not making a lot of money, so you're just doing it for the fucking love of the game. So like,
so much debt because of this. Yeah, but it's fun.
No, that's why I make music. It's not because of fucking because I make money doing it.
Yes, so we will talk about it for sure next time we do this. But real quick for everyone listening, where can they find your music? Where can they find Goat Chakra?
Okay, so we have Goat Chakra on fucking Instagram for sure, and we have our link to our Bandcamp, so we have some of our music on there for sure.
Okay, so they can just look up Goat Chakra Bandcamp. That's the best way to find it. So you just go on the internet, Goat Chakra Bandcamp, and it'll pull up their well, it should pull up their fucking page.
Yeah, what the fuck? Why is it not coming up? Like
that's what it does for me. Go to Bandcamp's website.
What is it?
Bandcamp. .com.
Okay.
Yeah. And then just go to the search bar and go, Goat Chakra.
No, it's yeah.
Boom, there we go.
That's us, yeah.
All right, so yep, that's the best place to find them. Good fucking. What is it? Death metal? Do you consider it death metal?
I don't know. It's all over the place. We got some punks, we got some thrash, we got some doom.
Yeah.
It's like fucking a little bit of everything.
I'm very glad that we can play this and I won't get flagged for licensing.
Oh no, I won't sue you. No, we're good. No.
But and I saw you guys. I got the opportunity to see you guys live.
I'm so glad you guys made it.
And that was fantastic.
That was awesome. Like
down at fucking
Launchpad, yeah.
That was fucking dope.
It was probably your first show after COVID, like.
Yeah, it was. It was dope. Yeah, you were on shift. Otherwise, I would have. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming, man. Before we fucking sign off here, thumbnail real quick, please, sir. Picture, if you haven't already.
Dude, I was so focused on the audio being fucked up.
God, yeah. I'm gonna try to go to bed tonight, and that's gonna keep me up. That I fucked that up. That's gonna keep me up.
We went like 2.5 hours. Like.
Yeah, but I'll recover it and it'll be fine. But again, thank you so much for doing this, Joey. Thank you again for sticking around this long, and we will see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.